Chapter 12:10. Yuanqing, it seems like you have good news today. Dongwang Baiji smiled. Big brother, sister-in-law, thank you. Yi Yuanqing bowed and said sincerely. Yihua was able to discern what she was thinking and said with a smile, Are you surprised? Big brother, you're so annoying. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I was almost scared to death. Yi Yuanqing started acting coquettishly. The Empress acting coquettishly had a unique style, just like Dongwang Baiji. What's wrong with your face? Yihua looked at the bloodstain on his little sister's face and couldn't help but ask. Yi Yuanqing smiled. It's nothing, I was beaten up twice, but it's not clean yet. After saying that, Yi Yuanqing even wiped his face twice, just that it was getting dirtier and dirtier. Baiji, go and get a basin of water for Yuanqing to wash up. After Dongwang Baiji left, Yihua took out a cigarette and lit it. Where's the person who beat you up? Oh, he died. Yi Yuanqing's description was very simple. There wasn't any complicated process. Yihua wrinkled his brows and said softly, He must have rung the bell after he was beaten up. Big brother, you won't blame little sister, right? Yi Yuanqing said pitifully. Not only that, I also want to beat you up. Yihua pretended to raise his hand. Yi Yuanqing's eyes were closed, but he felt that his head was being patted. Big brother is teasing me again, but I still feel warm in my heart. Yihua said helplessly, You are now the emperor. Those who you want to kill must be killed. Don't keep them and find trouble for yourself. And, big brother, I understand, my way of thinking was still too simple. From this matter, Yi Yuanqing had a deep understanding. When it's time to be bloody, one must be bloody. Yihua nodded his head and threw an orange to his little sister. All right, big brother, that Dongwang surname that you mentioned appeared today. It was that Huang Feidi's father and grandfather. And they appeared? Where are they? They were killed by the person inside the bell. Oh, is that so? I originally wanted to ask about the situation. Yihua said faintly. Right now, he still didn't dare to conclude that Dongwang Baiji was related to that Dongwang surname. But last night, something big happened. A few Supremes died, and Father's whirlpool was broken by one of them, turning him into an ordinary person. Those two were too powerful. I couldn't resist at all, Yi Yuanqing said solemnly. Now that he thought about it, he could still feel a chill running down his spine. Two people? Who are you? Yihua directly ignored this biological father of his. I don't have a good impression of him at all, and reckon that even if I were to die, there wouldn't be much of a commotion. Yi Yuanqing said in a deep voice. One of them looks pretty good. His eyes are dark purple, very strange. The other one is super fat, bald, holding prayer beads in his hand. His speech is also very strange, but he uses his mouth to kill. After hearing that, Yihua's expression became grave as he asked, Does it mean that whoever you want to kill will die, and there won't be any fluctuation of aura? That's right. How did you know? Yihua flicked the ash off his cigarette and laughed lightly. This laughter of his carried a bit of self-mockery. Because that fatty is one of Big Brother's subordinates. The one with dark purple eyes is also one of Big Brother's subordinates. He was kidnapped by that fatty and probably brainwashed. Yi Yuanqing was astonished. I didn't expect that the two people who appeared yesterday night were actually Big Brother subordinates. Yihua let out a sigh. That fatty is called Qing Su. He has already forgotten his identity now. This person is an expert in using poison, which is why you two were unable to sense any fluctuation of aura. Yi Yuanqing had a stupefied look on his face. I originally wanted to take revenge, but in the end, the other party was actually Big Brother subordinate. I've been looking for them these few days as well. I didn't expect that they would run to God's realm. Where are they now? Yihua asked gravely. I am about to capture this Qing Su. Big brother, they came over yesterday night precisely for the teleportation point. They went to an unknown plane, and we do not have any records of that plane. Yihua extinguished the cigarette, but this is a bit troublesome. If they went to another plane, it will be even harder to find them. Furthermore, from what Yi Yuanqing said, Do Fusher seemed to have become stronger, and Qing Su should have modified a bit. However, Do Fusher has yet to reach the level of being able to travel through planes, thus, he still has to rely on the teleportation point. For the sake of this subordinate, I'm also having a headache. Yihua rubbed his forehead, feeling that this time, I will have to personally take action. I reckon that Wei Chong is currently in another plane as well. When the time comes, I will have to take care of these two people. At this moment, Dongwang Baiji walked over with a basin of water and said with a smile, Yuan Qing, when are you planning to ascend to the throne? I'm already making arrangements. It should be in a few days. Yi Yuanqing smiled gently towards Dongwang Baiji. Sister-in-law is truly beautiful. Yihua, you have to prepare a congratulatory gift then. Of course. Yihua nodded his head. Now that his younger sister has become the empress, as her older brother, I have to go and support her. After that, I will go and take care of Qing Su's problem. I will bring Dongwang Baiji along with me, so that I can spend some time with her, so that she won't say that I didn't accompany her. Yi Yuanqing washed his face, then took care of everything under Yihua's treatment. Chapter 12:11. Therefore, Yihua called Zhu Tian over. Subordinate pays respect to your honor. I've waited for so long. Why haven't I seen anyone attack? What's going on? In actuality, Yihua was very gloomy. These few days, I have been waiting all along, but in the end, there wasn't even a single person, let alone clamoring. Zhu Tian said respectfully, Your honor, perhaps, those people are afraid of your honor's might, and that's why they are avoiding the battle. Absolute heaven, you've learned how to flatter as well. Everything this subordinate says is true. Then I will gladly accept it. Zhu Tian lowered his head with a smile. Seems like his honor is in a good mood. In a few days, I will leave with Bai Ji for a period of time. We already know the whereabouts of Qing Su. This time, I will personally go out. You guys stay at home and guard the place. Who knows if those people will attack us or not. Also, you guys need to improve your strength. Don't regret it when you are defeated. Your honor is right. I will supervise this area. Your honor can be at ease. Yes, how are the people who want to train? Absolute heaven said in a low voice. 3 of them are heavily injured, while the others are injured to varying degrees. They don't even have time to rest every day. Don't make a move unless it's a matter of life and death. That would be meaningless. Yes, this subordinate understands. Although Yihua didn't plan to get involved in this matter, he still had Zhu Tian pay attention to it. Standing up, Yihua planned to go and take a look at Gong Yu's situation. This Xiao Tian isn't at home, and mother isn't at home either. A woman sitting alone in the bedroom waiting would inevitably be suspected of being depressed. Therefore, he still had to go and take a look. It would be bad if little Tian came back and found out that his wife had become an idiot. After arriving at Gong Yu's sleeping quarters, Yihua saw that Gong Yu was currently taking care of the flowers and plants, and palace maids were following behind her. It seems different from what I thought. Greetings, your majesty. When the palace maids saw the emperor, they hurriedly saluted. Of course, Gong Yu was the same. Yihua waved his hand and asked the palace maid to stand at the side. If I have any questions, I will ask Gong Yu. Gong Yu, how have you been these days? Yihua asked faintly. This Gong Yu is the one who is pregnant with the child of the second family in the entire group, other than my family. Gong Yu happily said, Thank you for your concern, big brother emperor. I've been fine these past few days. Well, if you're really bored, you can go out of the palace for a walk or go chat with Yuehua and the others. Gong Yu was a little afraid to go, but she couldn't say it out loud. She respectfully said, Yes, I will go. I'll be going out in a few days. Take care of yourself. Okay, I won't let anything happen to the child. Yihua was very gratified. I have seen the change in Gong Yu with my own eyes. This time, Xiao Tian is rather fortunate. He was just afraid that there would be too much good fortune for him to enjoy. After chatting for a while, Yihua walked out of the bedroom. I wonder how Qinya and the others are doing. He wouldn't be back for a while. That was good. He could spend some alone time with Baiji. 3 days later, Yihua and Dongwang Baiji appeared in Spirit City. However, the two of them changed their appearances slightly. They mainly wanted to hear if there were any reactions to Yi Yuanqing becoming the empress. It was also good for Yi Yuanqing to pay attention. Perhaps this was what a big brother should do. This feeling is really good. Dongwang Baiji hugged onto Yihua's arm and leaned on him tightly. Just a while ago, I thought that Yihua was just joking around with me, or maybe he was just making a request. Only today did I know that Yihua was really joking around with me. From the looks of it, I have wronged Yihua. At most, I will just be obedient in the future. Baiji, in the past, I didn't have the chance to properly accompany you. Right now, you should be satisfied, right? Yihua said lightly, and a doting arc could be seen on the corner of his mouth. Yes, I'm so happy I could die. Ha, that's right. Yihua expressed that he was very happy. My woman being happy is just that simple, and it has nothing to do with money. I, the Supreme Overlord, have never had money before, and I don't even know what money is. This is related to martial arts. As long as one's martial arts are deep enough, one would be able to have endless aftertaste. Men should be strong, always ready. Let's go in and have a cup of tea. Yihua pulled Dongwang Baiji and walked into a tea house. After finding an ordinary seat and sitting down, Yihua ordered a plate of peanuts and a bottle of wine. Afterward, he listened to what the people around him were saying. Yihua felt that the people that were sitting around him were all Grandmaster-level figures. They even know about the matter of adults keeping mistresses outside. Hey, have you guys heard of it? The truth of what happened in the palace this time. Is the process still important? In any case, I feel that the Empress is pretty good. It's true that the Empress is good, but I'm afraid that you all don't know about the process, right? The degree of bloodshed during the process has reached 10 stars. Hearing what you said, I'm curious as well. Just what exactly happened? I'll tell you all about it then. But what about the money for the tea? I'll pay for it. Yihua said faintly. Brother, you sure are generous. Yihua liked to hear these words, and he shouted out, I, young Master Yi, will be paying for all the expenses here today. After everyone heard what Yihua said, they went into a daze for a moment. Soon after, everyone started cheering. The boss is indeed different. Dongwang Baiji let out a light sigh. Even this is happening, this is really enough. Let me tell you all about it. The various abnormal phenomena that happened that day was not a coincidence. At the start, our Empress was completely suppressed. Do you all know why? Why? That's because that mysterious East Royal Family's people came over to help the East Royal Family. Because of that, our Empress was unable to protect us. So there was such a thing. What happened after that? After that, it became even more amazing. Our Prince Yi descended from the sky, and with a shake of his body, he scared a bunch of people to death. Those East Royal Family members didn't even dare to say a single word, and they directly offered the throne to Yihua with both of their hands. After hearing that, the corner of Yihua's mouth twitched. This rumor can really be called a rumor. Even my main body came out, and my body shook. Dongwang Baiji, who was at the side, covered her mouth and laughed lightly. What are you laughing at? Yihua stretched out his hand and pinched onto the Empress's cheeks, making it seem as if his appearance wasn't enough to achieve such an effect. Nothing much, I just feel that it is funny, that's all. Dongwang Baiji couldn't hold it in anymore. Look at those people in the surroundings. They're all praising Yihua to the heavens. Yihua even wanted to smack this woman's, but to actually doubt my body. Yihua, what's going on with that East Royal Family? Dongwang Baiji asked curiously. Yihua didn't plan to hide it from Dongwang Baiji and said lightly, this East Royal Family is also known as the East Royal Family. East Royal Family is their original surname, and every time an emperor abdicates, they would change their name to East Royal Family and go to another plane to continue training. Oh, what a coincidence, their surname is actually East Royal Family. Dongwang Baiji mumbled, wondering if I am related to them. Yihua said faintly, Baiji, I have a feeling that you are related to this East Royal Family. Related? What do you mean? Dongwang Baiji asked curiously. End of this chapter. Chapter 12:12. Yihua asked faintly, do you still remember what happened in the past? Are you talking about Zishan's ex-husband? Dongwang Baiji asked curiously. Yihua nodded his head. You should be called Marquis or something, right? It is said that he was the one who placed you on Earth, and it should be more appropriate to call you imprisoned. Xingyu seems to be the same as well. Dongwang Baiji did not say anything. Yi Hua continued. This Prince Marquis is originally someone from God's realm. Although his status isn't as high as Ling Du's, he is at least a prince. If we were to hand him over to Ling Du's people, it would be easy for us to discover him. However, if we were to hand him over to a prince from another place, it would be much safer. Yi Hua, are you saying that my father had already started at that time? Dongwang Baiji was a bit astonished. No, starting from the first in your family. Do you have a grandfather? I don't know. In my memory, there's only father's generation, and father never mentioned anything else. Dongwang Baiji said in a low voice while tightly wrinkling her brows. Yi Hua stroked onto Dongwang Baiji's hair, then asked in a low voice, How about it? Are you interested in going and understanding more about it? Perhaps your Dongwang family has been framed and hidden on Earth. I don't want to go, Dongwang Baiji said lightly. How can I do that? My woman was wronged, and as your husband, I naturally have to help you seek justice. Yi Hua said coldly. You just want to go and act cool, right? Do you still think that I don't know? Dongwang Baiji said. Yi Hua said in a low voice. Am I that kind of person? I just don't want you to bear any crime. If there's anything, let's solve it together. If there's any hatred, let's use blood to wash it away. This is also worthy of your father. Dongwang Baiji slightly lowered her head. Yi Hua said lightly, Idiot, what are you crying for? Are you very touched? Just properly serve me at night, and that will be enough. Dongwang Baiji could be seen raising her head and revealing out a strange smile. This time around, let me act cool. Yi Hua, fuck, I actually thought that this woman was sad. The result was unexpected. Hubby, no, this is what I discovered. Yi Hua rejected harshly. It wasn't easy for me to find something that I can do. You just have to stand behind me. Would you have discovered it without me? I've also contributed. I don't care. I'll look at you every time. We'll just stand by the side and not talk. Hubby, let me go this once at most. I will let you have a good time tonight. Dongwang Baiji's eyebrows twitched. From the looks of it, Yi Hua's heart has been moved. Really? Of course it's true. I'm not like you, who knows how to lie to others. Dongwang Baiji pouted her mouth. All right then. If you make me happy tonight, I'll give you half of the points. Only half. That's out of the question. All right. What's wrong with giving way to your wife? If it wasn't for us, you could just prepare to be a single dog for the rest of your life. Dongwang Baiji said petulantly. Dongwang Baiji did not know how to dote on her wife at all. Yi Hua expressed his dissatisfaction. If you have the ability, why don't you give it a try? Yi Hua, I see that you've been a bit arrogant recently. Don't do stupid things. Baiji, I find that you have been a little arrogant recently. Are you trying to challenge my bottom line? Why don't we get a room and spar? Who's afraid of who? I won't kill you. Dongwang Baiji wasn't afraid at all. I'm just afraid that your legs won't be able to stand stably. Let's go then, my empress. Let's go. However, inside the palace, Yi Yuanqing was currently wearing an imperial robe. Furthermore, it was a specially made female imperial robe, and it seemed to have a different style to it. Right at this moment, Shanyu was reporting some problems to Yi Yuanqing, and Yi Yuanqing was thinking, didn't Big Brother say that he will be arriving today? Why isn't he here yet? Empress? Shanyu called out lightly, pulling Yi Yuanqing back to reality. What's the matter? Shanyu said helplessly. Empress, did you hear what I said just now? I didn't. Shanyu, this is just like an ancestor. Father even wants me to be her male pet, and even if I'm beaten to death, I won't do it. When the time comes, I will just be thrown into the cold palace by a single sentence. Say it one more time. Shanyu was a bit absent-minded as he looked at the long report. Say it one more time. I said it for an hour just now, and it was all bullsh asterisk T. This time, Yi Yuanqing was listening very seriously. However, Shanyu said, Empress, I'm worried that someone will come and cause trouble during the coronation ceremony this time around. Are you referring to the Donghuang family name? Shanyu nodded his head. Other than this family name, is there anything else? Dongwang Baiji said faintly. Let's not talk about the fact that there are 3 formidable experts present. Furthermore, my big brother will also be coming this time around. Shan Yu let out a sigh of relief. If Prince Yi is here, everything will be fine. Even if someone from the Dongwang family comes, they will still be safe and sound. Having an extra layer of safety is rather good. Just like that, Yi Yuanqing continued to wait for his big brother. He waited until the sun set, and soon after, night came. Where did big brother and sister-in-law go? Tomorrow is the coronation ceremony, and the two of you have a mission that needs to be announced. Then, at a tavern, a man and a woman walked out. The man was slightly bending his waist, while the woman had a relaxed look on her face, seemingly to be in a very good mood. You, come over and help me up, Yihua said petulantly. Dongwang Baiji snorted. Do you know how formidable I am? Dongwang Baiji, do you even need to circulate your energy to do this kind of thing? Do you have any moral integrity? So what? Aren't you very happy? Yihua was indeed very happy, but because it was too exciting, he ended up being defeated again and again. I never expected that after so many years, Dongwang Baiji would finally release such a big move. It made my legs go soft, and my waist also felt a bit painful. Didn't you say that you will give me half of it? I have never seen such a shameless person like you. I'll learn from you, the kind of husband you have, the kind of wife you have. I really have to give up. The two immediately disappeared from the spot and arrived at the imperial palace. Big brother, sister-in-law, you two are finally here. Big brother, what happened to you? You are injured. Just when Yihua wanted to explain, Donghuang Baiji smiled and said, your big brother was too arrogant today, so his sister-in-law bullied him. If not for my sister being here, I would definitely let you know what a man is. Yi Yuanqing found it hard to believe. Sister-in-law actually bullied big brother. Big brother looks so miserable right now. Sister-in-law is still the formidable one to be able to bully big brother to this extent. Looking at his sister's pitiful gaze, Yihua decided, tonight, I'm going to fight the Empress, the kind where I won't rest until one of us dies. Yuanqing, your big brother can't hold on anymore. He needs to rest. Yihua, sister-in-law, come with me. Yi Yuanqing supported his big brother up. Big brother's legs seem to have gone soft. It seems like he is badly injured. Yihua said lightly to Dongwang Baiji, I'm going to kill you later. End of chapter. Chapter 12-13. I'm the one who said that to you. Dongwang Baiji said with a smile. In the past, I gave in to you because I didn't want to lose your dignity as a man. But now, you don't want to give in to me anymore. You're showing your cards. Now, you know how weak you are, right? Yi Yuanqing told Dongwang Baiji the things to take note of tomorrow, and Dongwang Baiji expressed that she understood. Big brother, rest well. I will go back first. Don't worry. I will take good care of your big brother. Looking at sister-in-law's strange expression, Yi Yuanqing couldn't help but shiver. Big brother is so pitiful. I should just leave. I wonder if big brother will be able to walk tomorrow. However, Yihua planned to teach the Empress how to be a person tonight. However, the next morning, Yihua, wake up. The clothes have been sent over. Dongwang Baiji was incomparably beautiful, but Yihua, lying at the side like a corpse, it feels even scarier than 1 versus 4. This is simply too cruel. Yihua, stop pretending to be dead. Hurry up and wake up. You still have to go up on stage to give a speech today. Yihua, go up on stage to give a speech? I reckon that I will need someone to support me up on stage. I didn't expect the Empress to have such a trump card. In the past, she was obviously going easy on me, and now she is being beaten up so badly. Baiji, let's discuss something. What is it? Don't tell them. Dongwang Baiji went into a daze for a moment, then laughed out loud, to the point where tears were flowing out. Yihua shook his head. This move of the Empress is truly hard to guard against. However, it feels really good. Come over and wear my clothes. Yihua said gravely. What's the big deal about cheating? Look at me, when did I cheat? All right, my big master, I will serve you. Dongwang Baiji's smile had never been seen before, causing Yihua to feel very gloomy. After wearing his clothes, Yihua drank a pill, then revived. I mustn't lose my face. Yo, hubby, you're still drinking pills? I can't take it anymore, Your Majesty. If you continue to be so arrogant, something bad will happen. Hubby, you love me the most. You definitely won't bully me anymore. Hee. Now you know to act coquettishly. Where did that arrogance you had yesterday go? Yihua laughed coldly. Hubby, please forgive me. I won't bully you anymore. Yihua, forget it. It's rare for the Empress to act coquettishly. As a man, no matter what, I have to be a bit more magnanimous. Am I that kind of petty man? He had a big appetite. As the big brother of the Empress, Yihua's current identity was rather respectable. In actuality, anyone who was smart would know that. Lord Yi is the boss. Without Lord Yi, how could Yi Yuanqing become Empress? On the surface, she was the Empress, but in secret, Lord Yi was the Emperor. On the altar, Yi Yuanqing was dressed in the attire of an emperor. The dragon embroidered with golden silk symbolized majesty, and the dragon crown also looked very domineering. Although it added a feminine flavor, it did not suit the majesty of an emperor. Yihua, who was standing below, looked at his little sister and felt gratified in his heart. Yi Yuanqing was more mature than little Tian, but after this incident, little Tian would also mature. He was looking forward to little Tian's performance in the future. Shan Junren looked at Yihua, who was beside him, and sighed in his heart. This prince, he doesn't want to be the emperor himself, and actually let his younger sister be the emperor. I don't understand. Could it be that he doesn't like me? It's not that he doesn't like me, but the main thing is that I'm already the emperor in Kangluo continent. Could it be that I want to run over here and become the emperor? That's too much. It's enough for me to just be an emperor. Yihua, look at Yuanqing. He is even more powerful than me. Dongwang Baiji was a bit envious of Yi Yuanqing to actually become the empress of God's realm, and I am just the empress of a small place. Compared to Yi Yuanqing, I am not even on the same level. Yihua said softly beside Dongwang Baiji's ear, when you ride on me, you are riding on the entire world. Dongwang Baiji's face turned red, and she couldn't help but pinch Yihua. This bastard, there are so many people here, his skin is so thick. Shan Yu, who was standing at the back, saw Dongwang Baiji's action. She actually pinched Lord Yi, and Lord Yi actually didn't seem to be angry at all. This is too mystical. Just what kind of man is this Lord Yi? So mysterious. Yihua looked at the altar. Right now, the jade seal was being handed over. However, when Yihua looked at the sky, he slightly wrinkled his brows. Such an important moment. There is always someone coming to disturb me. This is truly annoying. If I didn't guess wrongly, it should be that person with the surname Dongwang. Previously, I didn't manage to find an opportunity, but now the opportunity is right in front of me. Above the sky, countless golden lights could be seen descending. However, under this dazzling light, a powerful might was concealed, causing people to not dare to look straight at it. In the sky, 8 people stood up. They were all wearing the same uniform, golden robes. However, from the collar, it could be seen that the person at the very front was a government official. The collar was flipped up, just like an abalone. Yihua felt that these 8 people were only average, and they were slightly stronger than that Huang Feidi. However, this was just Yihua's point of view. Other people didn't feel the same way. These people are simply even more powerful than the Supreme Emperor. The aura that they released was just like a gale, causing people to tremble in fear. Who is that woman below? The man at the very front had a very delicate appearance. The corners of his eyes were tilted upwards, giving off a very feminine feeling. Coupled with his fair skin, he lost a bit of masculinity. This was Dongwang Qingru. Dongwang Qingru had a very feminine name. Yi Yuanqing raised his head and looked toward the sky. This group of people came aggressively, and they didn't even put everyone in their eyes. Wu Ming, young master Evergreen, and King Yu, who were standing at the side, were already getting restless. As long as they say a single word, I will take their lives. However, the Empress has yet to say anything. Yi Yuanqing had guessed that something unexpected would definitely happen today, or maybe in the future. However, he didn't expect that something unexpected would still happen today. My name is Yi Yuanqing. Dong Wang Qingrou's gaze turned grave. A person with the surname Yi. Why are you wearing these clothes? Yi Hua slowly walked out of the group and said indifferently, Who said that people with the surname Yi can't wear these clothes? And who are you? Where did this monkey come from? Audacious. This is the head guard of the vestibule. Dong Wang Qingrou. If you are sensible, hurry up and kowtow and commit suicide. A man behind Yi Hua shouted out. After hearing that, Yi Hua went into a daze, then asked curiously, Oh, then, is there a head guard of the vestibule? You know of the Dong Wang Qi? Dong Wang Qingrou asked confusedly. F***K. There really is such a title. This is too careless. Just who was the one who came up with such a ridiculous name? Aren't they afraid of being laughed at by others? However, this group of people really does have the surname Dong Wang. That is great. I don't know you, and I'm not interested in knowing you. Are you all from the 9 provinces and 5 seas? Yi Hua asked curiously. End of this chapter. Chapter 12:14. Dong Wang Qingrou's gaze froze. She didn't say anything. However, looking at Dong Wang Qingrou's current appearance, Yi Hua already knew that they were really from the 9 provinces and 5 seas, which meant that they were together with Meng Yao. I wonder if Qing Su and Wei Chong are in this place. It would be best if they are in the 9 regions and the 5 seas. When the time comes, I'll deal with all of them at once so that I won't have to run around. Speak, what do you all want? Yi Hua asked faintly. Dong Wang Qingrou smiled calmly and said, Don't you know why I'm here? A few days ago, the Dong Wang Mausoleum and the Dong Wang clan came down, but they haven't returned yet. They must be dead by now. Yi Hua laughed lightly. Your feeling is correct. They have already gone to hell to have fun. You, how dare you? How dare you kill the people of the Eastern royal family? Dong Wang Qingrou's eyes focused and immediately released a terrifying aura. This aura was much stronger than that of the East Emperor Mausoleum. At least, that was what Yi Yuanqing felt. Dong Wang Qingrou suddenly looked towards Dong Wang Baizhi, who was behind Yi Hua. Dong Wang Qingrou slowly retracted her aura, and her brows slightly wrinkled. You are? Dong Wang Qingrou could sense a very pure bloodline from Dong Wang Baizhi's body. Only those with the Eastern Emperor bloodline were qualified to possess such a pure bloodline. People like Eastern Emperor Mausoleum and the others could only be considered as a side branch of the Eastern Emperor clan. Yi Hua did not make a sound. Seems like this person seems to have discovered something. That would be for the best. Seeing that Yi Hua did not say anything, Dong Wang Baizhi said, My name is Dong Wang Baizhi. Your surname is Dong Wang? Dong Wang Qingrou was even more confused. The Eastern Emperor family didn't seem to have any orphans in the outside world. Now, a woman with a very pure bloodline actually appeared in the Eastern Emperor family. This was a little unclear. Dong Wang Baizhi said faintly, I have already said it earlier. Who is your father? Dong Wang Qingrou asked curiously. Dong Wang Pa. Dong Wang Pa? There was no such person in the Orthodox lineage. So how could this woman have such a pure bloodline? Dong Wang Qingrou didn't beat around the bush and asked in a deep voice, Why do you have such a pure bloodline? Along with what Dong Wang Qingrou said, Yi Hua and Dong Wang Baizhi knew that there might really be a connection between the two of them. Dong Wang Baizhi also wanted to know the reason. Thus she said in a low voice, I don't know. Looks like you'll have to make a trip with me. Dong Wang Qingrou said faintly. This was related to the problem of losing her bloodline. She couldn't afford to be careless. Yi Hua took out a stick of cigarette and lit it up. This set of actions was as smooth as flowing water. That slightly tilted cigarette was like a boss, not putting anyone in his eyes. If Yi Hua had to say, what posture was the most handsome and pretentious? Yi Hua said that he was not snapping his fingers, but lighting a cigarette. Especially when he took the first sip, his slightly narrowed eyes revealed a cold, killing intent. I think that you are mistaken about one thing. This woman is one of my people, and it doesn't seem to be appropriate for you to bring her away just like that, right? Yi Hua said faintly. I can't appear too radical, right? I can't appear to be too eager, right? Dongwang Qingru was completely unable to sense Yi Hua's aura, and she thought that Yi Hua was just an ordinary person. After all, in a place like this, it wasn't strange for there to be ordinary people. Umph, do I need your permission to take someone away? Just how noble is my Eastern Emperor clan? Are you even worthy to be together with someone with such a pure bloodline? Everyone who was present took in a breath of cold air. It was hard for them to digest what they heard just now. All in all, this Eastern Emperor clan is a very powerful person. Even the Emperor is just a small soldier over there. Just look at what this person said just now. Furthermore, I didn't expect that Prince Ye's woman is actually a member of the Eastern Emperor clan as well. Listening to this person's tone, her bloodline is rather pure. If that's the case, it would be incredible. Yi Hua slightly narrowed his eyes, then pulled Dongwang Baiji into his embrace and kissed her. This was Yi Hua's usual method of acting cool. Using a woman to act cool. Although it was a bit low, a woman like Dongwang Baiji was indeed able to give him face. Furthermore, these people even raised Dongwang Baiji's identity, making the feeling even more different. Dongwang Baiji still doesn't know who Yi Hua is, showing off his own wife. I'm really impressed. But who asked me to be so good-looking? It is normal for me to show off a bit in front of my husband. Thus, the current scene was Dongwang Baiji hugging onto Yi Hua's neck, and the two were currently kissing passionately. When Yi Yuanqing saw his big brother and sister-in-law, his face turned red. Big brother and sister-in-law are really shameless. There are so many people looking at them, and they actually started kissing. However, Dongwang Qingru, who was in the sky, had a gloomy expression. This man is actually profaning such a pure bloodline. This is simply intolerable. Dongwang Qingru could be seen stretching out her finger, and a golden light instantly condensed on her fingertip, which then instantly attacked toward the back of Yi Hua's head. Dongwang Baiji sensed the golden light, and she opened her beautiful eyes and looked towards Dongwang Qingru. When the latter was looked at by Dongwang Baiji, her entire body seemed to have stiffened. A huge three-headed golden crow could be seen condensing behind Dongwang Baiji. This scene gave everyone a fright, and even Dongwang Qingru was stupefied. Roar! The three-headed golden crow let out a furious roar, and the golden light instantly turned into thin air. However, Dongwang Qingru and the others were all forced to retreat for over 10 steps, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of their mouths. The void in the sky gradually disappeared, but everyone had yet to regain their senses. This was the first time Yi Yuanqing saw his sister-in-law like this. Yi Yuanqing's face was filled with astonishment. So sister-in-law is actually this powerful. I truly didn't expect this. That three-headed golden crow, just now, was so terrifying. It seemed as if it was able to tear the world apart. Yi Hua let go of Dongwang Baiji's red lips and said in a low voice, "We agreed that we would each take half of the loot. Then, I will start first." Dongwang Baiji laughed lightly, then kissed Yi Hua once again, indicating to him to calm down and to give in to his wife. Yi Hua dotingly pinched on a Dongwang Baiji's cheek, then looked towards the people who were not far away. I feel that they seem to have been scared silly. How can this be? I have not even started yet. You all have already been scared silly by my wife. This isn't good, right? Dongwang Qingru was indeed scared silly to the point that she peed her pants. That huge void just now. Three-headed golden crow. This is the symbol of the family head. This woman, how can this be? Could it be that she activated her bloodline? That's impossible. Other than the family head, how can there be someone else who is able to activate her bloodline? Furthermore, that three-headed golden crow just now seemed to be even more terrifying. Just what is the background of this woman? However, right now, there is only one thing that I need to do. Dongwang Qingru could be seen kneeling down on one knee. When everyone behind her saw this scene, they all kneeled down as well. When everyone saw that those people actually kneeled down, they all had astonished expressions on their faces. Why did they kneel down? Could it be that they are admitting defeat? Are they admitting defeat before the battle even started? Right now, Yi Hua was very unhappy. Dongwang Baiji had snatched away all of the limelight, and there is completely no room for me to display my skills. End of this chapter. Chapter 12:15. These people were simply too cowardly and boring. Weren't they very arrogant when they first arrived? Dongwang Qingru wanted to shout, but she didn't know what to shout. This was a sign that only a clan master should have. Could it be that she had to call this woman clan master? That's obviously not the case. What should I do? How should I solve this problem? Dongwang Qingru really wanted to pretend that she did not see it. Yihua asked faintly, "What do you mean by this? Why are you kneeling down?" Dongwang Qingru really wanted to correct him. "This is not kneeling, okay? This is a form of etiquette. Are you blind?" Dongwang Qingru didn't want to bother with Yihua and said towards Dongwang Baiji, "Young lady, please come back with us to verify what you said." "Prove what?" Yihua asked curiously. Dongwang Qingru glared at Yihua angrily. "I'm talking to her. Don't interrupt." "Little friend, you are really rude." Yihua waved his hand at the air. "Pa!" This sound was a little loud, but it didn't send Dongwang Qingru flying. However, Dongwang Qingru's face tilted. Everyone was shocked, especially those who were standing behind Dongwang Qingru. How could this be possible? The head guard of the vestibule was slapped in the face, and he didn't even have time to react. Who was this man? Dongwang Qingru was astonished. She was actually beaten up. How many years has it been? This was the first time he had been slapped in the face. "How dare you hit me? Do you know what will happen to you?" "Pa," Yihua said faintly. "And? I only know how to end others." The officials sighed in their hearts. As expected of Prince Yi, he really didn't give them any face at all. He even slapped the Dongwang clan's face when he wanted to. Then who wouldn't dare to fight? This was too terrifying. Fortunately, he was standing on Lord Ye's side. Otherwise, he wouldn't even know how he died. Initially, Yihua was planning to pretend to be a captive. However, after thinking about it, he felt that this wasn't appropriate. From what Baiji had shown just now, she must have definitely let him know something. If not, how could she possibly keep on saying that she is a pure bloodline? If he was the boss of that side and suddenly heard that someone else had a pure bloodline, he would probably be anxious. Thinking about it this way, it seemed that there was something fishy going on. For example, two pure-blooded people were fighting for the position of the family head. Then, one of them cheated and exiled the other. There shouldn't be anything wrong with my deduction. This should be the case. I'll let her bring back the news first, and then I'll go over myself. Are you panicking or not? Dongwang Qingru. Dongwang Qingru's face was. Dongwang Qingru's face was slap-swollen. She looked so embarrassed that she wished she could disappear. But facing such a situation, Dongwang Qingru knew that she was no match for them. If she were to force herself, she would definitely die. Since these two people said they would come, then it couldn't be any better. I said, "You will regret this." The gigolo that stands behind a woman. After she finished speaking, Dongwang Qingru disappeared along with her subordinates. The corner of Yihua's mouth twitched slightly. "Just now, with which eye of yours did you see me standing behind a woman?" It was simply making something out of nothing. I will remember these words, and I will return them to you when the time comes. I said. Hua, how? Yihua was also aware of this. Just now, he had only slapped them twice, and when the time comes, he would slowly deal with these people. The ceremony continued. After that, Yihua gave a speech. Although he said it tactfully, what he meant was that if my little sister dares to mess around, I can only send her off in despair. Anyway, it was all kinds of tactful threats. Anyone who was smart would understand. After all, who would dare to mess around? They would respectfully call him Lord Yi. After the ceremony ended, Yihua prepared to bring Dongwang Baiji to 9 provinces and 5 seas. But before leaving, Yihua asked his little sister to bring him to Qing Su's teleportation coordinates. When he saw the coordinates, Yihua knew that it was the coordinates to 9 provinces and 5 seas. Qing Su was an ordinary person, and he couldn't fulfill the teleportation conditions. Do Fushi could only teleport to God's realm. If one wanted to go to 9 provinces and 5 seas, one had to rely on this teleportation location. But for someone like Yihua, There was no need to use this teleportation. Meng Yao had the strength to come and go as she pleased. After knowing Qing Su's location, Yi Hua had an idea. I'm going to wake Qing Su up. If Wei Chong was in this plane, that would be perfect. They could get rid of him together. After returning to the palace, Yi Yuanqing suddenly asked, "Big brother, do you want to go and see father? He has nothing to do with me." Yi Hua said faintly. I, the Supreme Overlord, had just met Yi Hua, and I had already beaten up Yi Hua. This could be considered as helping my mother vent out her anger. If it wasn't for giving my mother face, I would have directly killed Yi Hua. Yi Yuanqing knew that the relationship between his big brother and father wasn't good, so he didn't continue to persuade his big brother. In actuality, he didn't understand why his father was so against his big brother. In actuality, his father is still quite good. Although he always scolds his big brother, at the crucial moment, he still stood up for him. If not for his father, Dong Huang Baiji, who was at the side, didn't dare to say anything. There were some things that she could persuade Yi Hua, but there were some things that would make Yi Hua, who has a bad temper, unhappy. Yi Yuanqing pursed her lips. "Big brother, are you going to go now?" "That's right. That Qing Su is in 9 provinces and 5 seas. I have to go and find him." "That's right. Let your subordinates guard the palace. I am afraid that those people will come back again. Keep this bamboo flute. If you are in trouble, just blow it." Yi Hua passed a bamboo flute to Yi Yuanqing. Yi Yuanqing took the bamboo flute and asked curiously, "Big brother, is there a surprise?" "Idiot, this is to ask big brother's subordinates to help. Big brother has something to do over there, so he can't come." "Yes, big brother, I understand. You and sister-in-law should be careful." Yi Yuanqing was still a little worried. Wouldn't it be a little dangerous if only big brother and sister-in-law went? Big brother's subordinates were so powerful. Why didn't he bring them? In the past, Yi Hua had always been asking his subordinates to do things for him, and right now, he felt that he was about to become rusty. It was important for him to go out and exercise his muscles and bones. Big brother understands. Just be a good emperor. You are big brother's pride. After saying that, Yi Hua opened up his arms. Yi Yuanqing lightly hugged Yi Hua. This was a hug between siblings. There was no other meaning to it. Dong Huang Baiji stood at the side and did not say anything. She knew that Yi Hua only treated Yi Yuanqing as his younger sister. Seeing her big brother and sister-in-law disappear in front of her, Yi Yuanqing's face gradually tensed up. At this moment, Yi Yuanqing was the queen. She had changed from the little girl just now. But in the 9 provinces and 5 seas, Dong Huang Qingru returned to her clan with unwillingness. The Eastern Royal Clan was situated on a rainbow. End of chapter. Chapter 12:16. This wasn't an ordinary rainbow. This was a rainbow that was stacked on top of each other, layer after layer. Every layer was a different color. However, the color at the very top was orange. Furthermore, every layer was very huge. If someone wanted to attack the Dongwang family, they would have to attack from the first layer up. Every layer was guarded by people, and other than people, there were also beasts. However, the Dongwang family had never been attacked for tens of thousands of years. This was the only time the Dongwang family was exterminated before they even saw the first layer. Dongwang Qingru was the head guard of the first layer, and right now, he was reporting his mission. As the manager of the first layer, Dongwang Fei was drinking his tea indifferently, as if he didn't care about the matter at all, and he even revealed a smile on his face. Floor leader. Subordinate's words are all true. Dongwang Qingru said gravely, feeling that Dongwang Fei didn't believe his words. Dongwang Fei laughed. Qingru, stop messing around. What 3-headed golden crow? It is a serious crime to say it out. It is impossible for the Dongwang bloodline to be outside. If it is, it would be a humiliation to the entire Dongwang family. Speaking till the end, Dongwang Fei's face became taut, warning Dongwang Qingru not to speak recklessly. Dongwang Qingru didn't seem to realize the seriousness of the matter, but now that he heard it, it does make sense. Then, floor leader, what should we do? Just treat it as if nothing happened. Don't look into it anymore. Even if something happens, we won't blame it on you. And of course, we won't implicate me as well. Don't tell anyone about this matter, and those people that you brought along, if necessary. Dong Wang Fei made a gesture of cutting his throat, scaring Dong Wang Qingru. Floor leader, if this matter is looked into, the ones who will lose their heads will be you and me. Subordinate, understood. You can leave now. Yes. Looking at Dong Wang Qingru's back view, Dong Wang Fei tightly wrinkled his brows. Seems like it's true. As a floor manager, I naturally know some insider information. That was something that happened a long time ago. Dong Wang Fei didn't dare to continue thinking about it. This matter belongs to the family's top secret. If it's really like what Dong Wang Qingru said, then I'm afraid. I can only hope that that person can't be found. Yihua and Dong Wang Baiji were both pointing their swords at this place. This kind of high-level plane teleportation, Yihua wasn't able to accurately grasp it, and it was considered to be random. Where to go would depend on the will of the heavens. For example, right now, Yihua and Dong Wang Baiji appeared in the same room. The furnishings of this room were quite romantic. They were all bright red, and there were even portraits of women hanging on the walls. They were incomparably seductive and coquettish. However, human reproduction was going on the bed. Dong Wang Baiji went into a daze for a moment, then immediately closed her eyes and turned around. Meanwhile, Yihua laughed lightly. This man is useless. Look at that woman. She is just pretending. Perhaps the two people on the bed were too engrossed and did not notice their arrival at all. Yihua felt that this should be a brothel. He actually teleported to a place like this. That was quite interesting. Pulling onto Dong Wang Baiji's hand, Yihua walked out of the room. That woman is simply too dazzling. There's someone here. No, I heard the door just now. It doesn't exist. Don't move. After walking out of the brothel, Yihua hugged onto Dong Wang Baiji and observed the brothel. It feels extraordinary. This brothel was cylindrical in shape. Looking down, it was very tall. The height of the brothel was at least tens of floors, and it looked just like those large-scale shopping malls. Furthermore, it was packed with people, and the air was filled with a romantic atmosphere. Yihua felt that there was some kind of aphrodisiac in the air. Look at those men. Their faces are all red. The boss of this brothel sure knows how to do business. Furthermore, this kind of building doesn't even exist in the God's realm. Yihua became a bit interested in the 9 provinces and 5 seas. Bringing your wife to a brothel. Interesting, right? Yihua couldn't help but tease. You're definitely doing this on purpose. Dong Wang Baiji said petulantly. Yihua shook his head and did not explain anything. If I say that I can't control it, Baiji will laugh at me. Walking down the stairs, Yihua discovered that how long are we going to walk? Brother, there's a formation at the side. How are you going to walk down the stairs? A man hugged onto a flirtatious woman and said. Originally, he didn't want to remind Dong Wang Baiji, but after seeing how beautiful Dong Wang Baiji was, he decided to give her some face. Yihua said faintly, Of course I know, I am just bored. After finished speaking, Yihua pulled Dong Wang Baiji and walked down the stairs. Dong Wang Baiji covered her mouth and laughed lightly. You are embarrassed, aren't you? Yihua felt very awkward. So there's a formation that leads to the first floor. I know about it. And you know about it, I understand. Dong Wang Baiji covered her mouth and laughed lightly. However, since her husband wanted face, as his wife, she naturally had to give him face. Yihua and Dong Wang Baiji were on the first floor, and both of them took a formation to walk down the stairs. The speed of the formation was even faster than an elevator, and it was practically within seconds. Yihua felt that this method was pretty good, and it seemed like he was going to have a chance. The first floor of the hall had a different style. The entire hall was circular in shape, and it was much bigger than the hall upstairs. There was a stage at the center, and a few women were currently performing flute skills. The sound was rather pleasant to the ears, and those who didn't know might have thought that this was a formal hall. Below the hall, there were tens of tables, and most of the tables were occupied by a man and a woman. However, at the periphery of the hall, there were those private room-style tables, which seemed to be a bit more hidden. Yihua raised his head and took a look. From the center of the hall, he could see the sky outside. This kind of building, sure, is interesting. What should I do if it rains? Wouldn't it crush someone to death? Let's go, what are you looking at? You men love this kind of place. Dongwang Baiji urged from the side. Yihua hugged onto Dongwang Baiji's slender waist. Baiji, it wasn't easy for us to come to such a brothel. If we don't admire it, how can we do it? Baiji, don't you think so? Men, to experience the atmosphere of a foreign country, we can just treat it as coming here for a vacation. Yihua patted on a Dongwang Baiji's, but making him look like a man who was drinking wine. Dongwang Baiji chuckled. I don't believe you. Dear customer, what are you doing? An old man who wore a red gown could be seen walking over and asking. Yihua said faintly, I brought my own lady. The old man took a look at Dongwang Baiji. Dongwang Baiji is a head taller than me, and her temperament is so good. Lady, are you interested in working here? Yihua went into a daze for a moment. Dongwang Baiji was immediately stupefied. Ha ha ha. Yihua let out a hearty laugh. Yesterday, I was tortured by Baiji. Although this old man offended me, I can still spare your life. Dongwang Baiji rolled her eyes. This bastard is actually laughing. Who asked you to laugh? I only sell my skills, not my body. Dongwang Baiji said lightly. In a chapter. Chapter 1217. Yihua's smile froze as he looked towards Dongwang Baiji. What are you trying to do? No problem. As long as the lady knows how to play a musical instrument, it will be fine. Hearing that, the Abasang was very happy. This lady's appearance is really speechless. She is simply able to stun everyone. Baiji, you are trying to cause trouble again. Yihua hugged on a Dongwang Baiji and said gravely. Dongwang Baiji pouted her mouth. You were the one who laughed at me first. Am I laughing at you? Hurry up and admit your mistake. No, you were the one who bullied me first. You should admit your mistake first. Baiji, I realize that you were a bit arrogant these few days. Ba, Yihua said gravely. Fine, if you dare to go, I will call miss. I won't go, all right, old master. Dongwang Baiji gave in. To actually use such a method to threaten me. Can you be reasonable? Patting the empresses, but Yihua looked at the Abasang and said faintly, You can leave now. Young master, this isn't good, right? How can you obstruct this lady's great future? The Abasang advised. In the future, this lady will definitely be a top performer. Yihua asked faintly, What great future? What kind of future can she have by singing here? Young master, you are gravely mistaken. Where is this? Dingzhou's Qingwu country. The biggest country. Countless rich and powerful families live in Qingwu country. With how outstanding this lady is, she will definitely attract the attention of many feudal lords. Think about that scene. It will definitely be unprecedented. As he spoke, even the Abasang himself became excited. Yihua finally found out that this is one of the 9 provinces, Dingzhou, and it is also the biggest country. Could it be that there is such a building? This is really interesting. He is my husband, Dongwang Baiji said faintly. Not playing anymore. Time to reveal my identity. The Abasang was startled. This is the first time I saw a husband bringing his wife to a brothel. I am simply speechless. Perhaps the two of them had a heavy taste. The Abasang spat a few words and turned around to leave. Yihua said in a low voice, If you dare to cause trouble again, you are done for. If you are willing to hit me, then go ahead and hit me. Dongwang Baiji said as she casually found a seat and sat down. Yihua laughed. Seems like I have doted on her too much recently, to the point where it has become a problem. Yihua walked to the side of Dongwang Baiji and sat down. Yihua called out to Dongwang Baiji and Dongwang Baiji, and of course, Yihua also drank some wine. I wonder what kind of place this Ding province is, and where is that Dongwang clan? Yihua said faintly. Dongwang Baiji was pouring wine by the side. Dongwang Baiji was very obedient. When it was time to be mischievous, she would be mischievous, and when it was time to be sensible, she would be sensible. Should we find someone to ask? Dongwang Baiji suggested. It would be meaningless. It's like buying a cheat code in a game. It's fun at first, but it becomes meaningless later on. Dongwang Baiji shook her head. If that's the case, then that's not right. You're the only reasonable one. You have the most crooked reasoning. Dongwang Baiji laughed lightly. Yihua laughed bitterly. They're talking about the things that happened back then again. Suddenly, the hall turned dark. Yihua felt that this was a type of spell and not true darkness. Interesting, using magic to replace technology. A ray of light shone onto the stage in the center, and a woman who was wearing a white veil could be seen sitting leisurely on the stage. The woman was hugging onto a pipa. Following the appearance of the woman, the men in the hall started shouting. Yihua sized up the woman. Although he couldn't see her face clearly, he could feel from that arrogant body that the woman had. That woman's face was definitely not ordinary. What? Have you taken a fancy to someone else? Dongwang Baiji said in jealousy. The number of women that Yihua sized up was quite few, and yet, right now, the woman was actually sizing up someone else right in front of me. Yihua said indifferently. I have indeed taken a fancy to someone else. Tisk, Dongwang Baiji was speechless. He's teasing me again. Beautiful sounds started ringing out, and everyone in the hall seemed to be immersed in the music. Yihua couldn't help but sigh. This woman's craftsmanship is pretty good. The more Dongwang Baiji looked at the woman, the worse she felt. This scoundrel couldn't have really taken a fancy to someone else, right? Your eyeballs are going to pop out. Dongwang Baiji couldn't help but remind Yihua. Your wife is walking at the side. Can't you give me some face? Yihua ignored her, causing Dongwang Baiji to feel very jealous. After the song ended, the woman stood up and slightly bowed her body, expressing her gratitude. The men below seemed to have gone mad, and the screams were rather intense. There were even people above who were shouting. From the looks of it, this woman's background isn't ordinary. Wan Wan, Wan Wan, Wan Wan. The woman called Wan Wan nodded her head, but she didn't leave in a hurry. On the other hand, the woman called Wan Wan walked onto the stage. Sirs, today is our Wan Wan's wedding day. I wonder which lucky man will be able to obtain our Wan Wan's favor. No wonder there are so many people here today. So it turns out that they are all here to try their luck. Today's wedding day is a day to choose a man, and whoever is chosen will be chosen. This is simply like hitting the jackpot, 5 million. The men below the stage all went mad. Wan Wan, my family is rich. I guarantee that you won't have to worry about food and drinks in the future. Wan Wan, follow me. My father is the head of the guards. Wan Wan, my father is a minister. All kinds of people instantly started competing with each other, and it seemed as if they were pimping for their father. However, this kind of thing, it was up to Wan Wan herself to decide. Right at this moment, Yihua asked curiously, Baiji, do you think that she will choose me? Even if she chooses you, I won't accept her. Why? Isn't this a free gift? Yihua teased. If you dare to accept her, I will. Dongwang Baiji bit on her lips, looking like she was going to cry. Why aren't you coaxing her? What are you going to do? I won't talk to you anymore. Huh? Yihua laughed at Dongwang Baiji. After holding back for so long, she actually said such a sentence. She's still the same as before. I don't even know what she's going to threaten me with. Yihua turned his head and looked towards Wan Wan, very curious about who she will choose. Wan Wan looked at her surroundings, appearing to be very shy. However, she still appeared to be very serious. The woman who was at the side said softly, Wan Wan, you mustn't choose those young masters. They will be very miserable in the future. Wan Wan understands. Suddenly, Wan Wan saw a man at the corner of the stage. The man had a head full of long hair, wore a black robe, and looked very cold. There was a woman sitting beside the man, and the woman was very, very beautiful. Among so many people, only this man was able to enter her eyes. I have a candidate in mind, Wan Wan said softly. Everyone present cried out in surprise. She has a candidate in mind so quickly? Just who is it? Wan Wan lowered her head shyly, just like a little girl who had just met her lover for the first time. Everyone was very nervous, hoping that this good fortune would descend upon them. That way they would feel very comfortable. However, a white light flashed past. The white light shone onto Yihua's body. End of this chapter. Chapter 12:18. Dongwang Baiji was stunned. How is this possible? This damnable appearance of Yihua. He really can't hide it even if he wants to, and he's giving me trouble everywhere. How could a beauty chase after him just by sitting here and drinking? Bastard. He must have done it on purpose. He just wanted to sit here and wait for a romantic encounter. Yihua revealed a light smile and raised his cup to indicate that he didn't have any intention of objecting. This caused Dongwang Baiji to become even angrier. Yihua, this bastard, to actually propose a toast to me. He is simply a pervert. He didn't even reject a beauty, throwing herself at him. What a bastard. Everyone's gaze looked towards Yihua, and they discovered that Yihua was a handsome guy. I can't take it anymore. Why is Wanwan stroking him so lightly? What's so good about such a good-looking guy? This was a pretty boy. Looking at the woman next to him, it was obvious that she had already taken care of him. Abasang realized it was that man again. He didn't say anything and said with a smile, "Sir, you're very lucky to have been chosen by our Wanwan. You have to treat our Wanwan well in the future." There was a hidden meaning in the old man's words, especially when he said to love her. He was speechless. It was very ambiguous. "Yihua, just what are you trying to do?" Dongwang Baiji said gravely. "Baiji, calm down. This Wanwan is a local after all. We can interrogate her properly, right? Do you really think I'm so hungry that I can't be choosy?" Yihua said faintly. "We have been husband and wife for so many years. Do you still not know my personality? If it's a woman, then I will go on you. In that case, my harem should already be in the 5 digits. I think you are. Is Daji beautiful or not? Didn't I not touch her at all? Seriously, you don't trust me at all." Yihua lectured. "Can't you at least have some trust in me?" Dongwang Baiji pursed her lips and did not say anything. When it came to Daji, Yihua was still very well behaved and did not touch her. But who knew? On that day, Daji's bestial nature suddenly burst out, and she couldn't wait to be bullied by Yihua. Seeing that Wanwan went down to change her clothes, Dongwang Baiji said, "Let's go." "Baiji, aren't you messing around? If we leave, the other girls will lose face." "I don't have any face. This jealousy of yours is making me dizzy." Yihua smiled bitterly as he shook his head. "This empress is really... Are you leaving or not? If not, I'm leaving." Yihua had no choice but to hug Wanwan. After that, he waited for Wanwan. Dongwang Baiji struggled with all her might, but Yihua couldn't care less. "Let me go. Baiji, don't force me to spank you. You, shameless. Did you just get to know me today?" Yihua said with a smile. Seeing that the empress was angry, it felt rather good. Not long after, Wanwan changed into a plain robe and walked over leisurely, making everyone present jealous. Was it fine as long as they were good-looking? Sure enough, this was a society that valued appearances. At this time, Wanwan was still wearing a veil and walked over accompanied by Obasan. Yihua let go of Dongwang Baiji. Dongwang Baiji, who was standing at the side, was feeling very jealous. Dongwang Baiji decided to ignore Yihua for the entire day. He had just arrived, yet he had already attracted a peach blossom. "Young master, you're so lucky. Wanwan is our top girl here," Obasan said ambiguously. Wanwan lowered her head and didn't say anything. She was very shy. Dongwang Baiji snorted. "As long as this woman acts like this, men will definitely be distracted." "Oomph, scumbaggy." Yihua looked at Wanwan, who was in front of him, and revealed out a smile. "I'm just lucky." Dongwang Baiji actually saw Yihua smiling, and she was so frightened that she nearly exploded from anger. This fellow always has a stern face, and yet he actually smiled at me. I, Dongwang Baiji, cannot accept this. "Then, young master, please take off Wanwan's veil." Yihua laughed lightly, then lifted Wanwan's veil with both of his hands. Dongwang Baiji was having a hard time enduring. This is simply like lifting off a veil. To actually lift off someone else's veil in front of his wife. Yihua was a bit surprised. This Wanwan's looks are indeed not bad. Although she can't be compared to the empress, she is still a rare beauty. "Young master," Wanwan said in a low voice, looking incomparably bashful. Yihua patted onto Wanwan's head. "Let's go." "All right, young master." Everyone looked at Yi Hua and Wan leave, and they still hadn't come back to their senses. That frivolous action just now. It's as if he's treating a slave. This hateful poser, he deserves to die a horrible death. After walking out of the brothel, Yi Hua saw a different city. This city was actually quite similar to Wushu Empire. The only difference was the tall buildings. These tall buildings that were built using wood really had a different style to them. For example, the brothel behind Yi Hua could be considered as one of the best. The streets were still normal, and the population was also quite large. The housing prices here are definitely not cheap, right? Yi Hua held on a Dongwang Baiji's hand. This jealous woman is very unhappy right now. Wan, this is your real name? Yi Hua asked curiously. Wan, who was walking beside Yi Hua, said in a low voice, "Young master, this is my real name." "Oh, what about me? I came from a small place. Can you tell me about this Ding province?" "Of course, young master." Wan paused for a moment, then continued. "Young master, within the 9 provinces and 5 seas, Ding province is considered to be below average. Because the tectonic plate is like a huge cauldron. That's why it was named Ding province. And this Qingwu country is the biggest country in Ding province, and all of the sects in Qingwu country are under their jurisdiction." Yi Hua nodded his head. "So this is how the sects are governed by the state. Which province is the most powerful?" "Young master, the most powerful is Weihai," Wan said in a low voice. Yi Hua was very curious. Why is the sea the most powerful? Because there are some very powerful people living on top of Weihai, and their surname is Dongwang. Yi Hua held on a Dongwang Baiji's hand. "Look, didn't I find them? That Dongwang family is hiding on top of Weihai." Wan, how did you know all these?" Yi Hua asked curiously. Wan's face was red as she said in a low voice, "Young master, I only heard it from others. I don't know if it is true or not." Yi Hua nodded his head. "Let's go and find him first. The weather here is really not good. It's a bit hot." In the blue sky, there were 2 suns hanging on the sky. "What are you trying to do? You even brought people to get a room." Dongwang Baiji said angrily. "What's the matter with that?" Dongwang Baiji really wanted to just toss this matter aside and go home. "Furthermore, we are here for a vacation. I'm going to anger my wife to death before even starting?" When Wan, who was at the side, heard that they were going to get a room, she became very shy. Luckily, gold seems to be useful everywhere, and I successfully got a luxurious suite. Money really can do anything you want. Money is really a good thing. Wan, go and pour a cup of tea." Yi Hua shouted out. "All right, young master." Wan went out of the room to fetch water, and right at this moment, Dongwang Baiji asked in a low voice, "Yi Hua, just what are you trying to do?" "Nothing much. I just want to ask about the situation. You don't have to be so nervous, all right?" End of this chapter. Chapter 12:19. How can I not be nervous? Who knows what you're going to do? Dongwang Baiji said angrily. Looking at Wan entering the house, Dongwang Baiji remained calm. Wan poured 2 cups of tea and placed it on the table, then walked to Yi Hua's back and asked shyly, "Gongzi, do you need Wan to give you a massage?" "Of course. Let's see how good Wan's cooking is." "Don't worry, young master. Wan's cooking is very good." Yi Hua smiled. While holding onto the teacup with his right hand, he didn't drink from it. Dongwang Baiji was so angry that she didn't even have the mood to drink tea. Wan, how old are you since you started working in that kind of place?" Yi Hua asked curiously. Wan was stunned and said with disappointment, "Does young master dislike Wan working in that kind of place?" "A little." Wan, you still haven't answered my question just now." Yi Hua said lightly. "Gongzi, when I was 8 years old, I was sold to a brothel." Yi Hua let out a deep sigh. "What a miserable story. Baiji, what do you think?" "Oof." Dongwang Baiji snorted. "Young master, this is not a story." "That's right. If this is really a story, then it would be a bit too old-fashioned." Yi Hua took out a stick of cigarette and lit it up. "Wan, why did you choose me?" Yi Hua asked again. Hearing that, Dongwang Baiji went into a daze for a moment, then became vigilant. "Young master, do you believe in fate?" Of course I believe in fate. Then it must definitely be fate that brought us together. Wan Wan smiled tenderly, and her slender fingers placed onto Yi Hua's body and lightly rubbed onto his body. This made Dongwang Baiji very unhappy. Yi Hua smiled and said, Wan Wan, your relationship with that plump woman is very good, right? Yes, she's very nice to me. Wan Wan, after massaging for so long, you should be tired. Come and drink some water. Yi Hua passed the teacup to Wan Wan. Wan Wan said respectfully, Young master, I'm not thirsty. Young master, please drink. How can that do? Be obedient, Wan Wan. Yi Hua said faintly. Young master, there's really no need, Wan Wan said in a low voice. Yi Hua could only place the teacup on the table and said helplessly, Wan Wan, you are in cahoots with that obeson, right? Young master? Wan Wan asked in confusion. Your trick is a little outdated. I brought a woman to a brothel, which is a taboo in a brothel. It's strange that the obeson didn't say anything. And you, of all people, you chose me. Although I am handsome, you are too arrogant. Do you see this woman? You actually chose me. Don't you feel ashamed? Or did that obeson tell you about it? Hearing that, Dongwang Baiji went into a daze. What is going on? Yi Hua gave Dongwang Baiji a look. Woman, it's just that your hair is long, but your knowledge is short. You can't even see through such a trick. You just have to remember one thing. The heavens will not drop a pie. Even if it is going to drop, it will not hit you. If it hits you, then you will die. Young master, what are you talking about? Even I am confused. Wan Wan's face was filled with confusion. Yi Hua picked up the teacup. Drink it. Young master, I'll let you drink. Drink it. Yi Hua retracted his smile and said gravely. Wan Wan's expression gradually became grave, and she put down her hands from Yi Hua's shoulders. How did you discover me? Wan Wan asked coldly. Yi Hua blinked his eyes towards Dongwang Baiji, then said with a smile, I was just speaking nonsense. I didn't expect that it would actually be true. Wan Wan, you tricked me. Wan Wan's palm turned into a dagger and pierced towards Yi Hua's head. However, when the dagger was just a centimeter away from Yi Hua's head, it stopped. Speak. Who is the person behind this meticulous scheme of yours? Yi Hua asked gravely. Although it was just a guess, he was still curious as to who was the one behind this. I just arrived here, and I was already discovered by someone, and there is even an ambush waiting for me. It's just that this person is a bit stupid to actually use a honey trap. Doesn't he know that the women around me are all extremely beautiful? Furthermore, I don't like women who don't have any personality at all. I am completely not interested in women who throw themselves into my arms. Yi Hua looked just like a skeleton. Wan Wan revealed out a malicious gaze, but she didn't say anything. Yi Hua stood up, then turned his head around and looked at Wan Wan, then lightly caressed her head. I think you should know Wei Chong, right? I don't know him. Women usually speak in reverse. You should know him. Wan Wan, Dongwang Baiji was very speechless. Yi Hua is truly a scoundrel. However, this Wan Wan is actually a spy, and furthermore, she is already lying in ambush in the brothel, waiting for Yi Hua to fall in her trap. Yi Hua said faintly, Wei Chong is a smart person. He definitely wouldn't use such a method to deal with me. It must be someone else, right? To think that using such a method would be enough, you really don't understand me. Yi Hua was also speaking nonsense. Who asked this woman to be stupid, to be able to use such a small method to deal with me? She is truly too naive. She is even more naive than me, who is an undead. Bullshit. Lord Ming is both brave and courageous. Who does he think he is? Hearing that, Yi Hua went into a daze, and even Dongwang Baiji went into a daze. Wei Chong is really here. Yi Hua laughed. Wan Wan, don't be angry. Let's have a good chat. This Lord Ming is your superior, right? Furthermore, you seem to like him a lot. At this moment, Wan Wan's face really turned red. However, very quickly, she said with a straight face, No, Lord Ming is so outstanding. I and the others can only look up to Lord Ming's back view. All right, this is just a little fangirl, the kind that has already been brainwashed. However, she's a little silly. All right, do you know Wei Chong? What ability does that man have to actually be fancied by the palace master to actually be able to suppress Lord Ming? From what I see, the palace master's heart must be muddled. Yihua, this Wan is too awesome to actually dare to insult the palace master behind his back. This palace master is truly pitiful. His heart is muddled. Seems like Wei Chang's position is very high right now. This is a bit troublesome. In actuality, Wei Chang and I are opponents. The reason why I came here this time is to find him, and then kill him. Can you help me find him? As long as I kill Wei Chang, your Lord Ming will return back to his original identity. Yihua said gravely. Wan didn't say anything, and after a while, she said, for Lord Ming, I am willing to do anything. Courageous, for Lord Ming to have a subordinate like you. He would be very honored. Of course, Wan said proudly. Dongwang Baiji was a bit stupefied. Yihua only said a few sentences, and this Wan, my God, is she so gullible? This Wan must be a newbie, right? Wan, what is your sect called? Yihua asked curiously. Take a guess. Chapter 1220. Yihua Dongwang Baiji, damn, this Wan, is she really a normal person? Why did she have to be sent to carry out such a difficult mission? It is too dangerous. How will mere mortals like you know? Listen up. Indestructible Shrine. The most powerful existence in the entire 9 provinces and 5 seas. Even if it is that big aristocrat, they are not our opponent. While speaking, Wan's face was filled with worship. Yihua shook his head. I originally thought that it would be difficult, but in the end, this indestructible shrine was sold out by a little girl. Sigh. When your boss dies, I will tell him that this girl is not bad. It sounds very powerful. Yihua said in a low voice. Of course. Where is your indestructible shrine? I won't tell you. Wan went into a daze for a moment, then hurriedly changed her words. Yihua's expression stiffened. You also don't know. Who says that I don't know? Wait till I complete this mission. I will know. Yihua, my God, it turns out that this girl still doesn't know. Yihua asked curiously. Then, what is your mission this time? This is a very confidential mission. How can I tell you? Yihua laughed. Since you have already said so much, it doesn't matter if you say more. Wan thought about it and agreed. I seem to have said a lot just now. My mission is actually very simple. It is to follow by your side and report to me at any time. Yihua nodded his head and removed the seal that was placed on Wan's body. Wan, how about we make a deal? Yihua smiled. Wan snorted. My immortal divine palace's people are not afraid of death. Even if you put a knife on my neck. I, Wan, will not cooperate with you. Clang. A sharp knife was placed on Wan's neck. Wan's gaze became deep. How do we cooperate? Yihua, Donghuang Baiji, I have never seen such an unprofessional person. Can't you at least resist a little? How about we cooperate? You continue to hide by my side and pretend that you don't know anything. Yihua said faintly. You want to kill Wei Chang? Yes, after killing Wei Chang. Your Lord Ming is already relaxed, isn't it? Wan nodded and felt that there was nothing wrong with what he said. Sure, Wan said very earnestly. This caused both Yihua and Dongwang Baiji to feel like laughing. Wan is truly a newbie. Right? Your contact person should be that obeisant, right? Yihua asked faintly. Yes. Then shouldn't you report your safety now? Wan was confused. How do I tell them I'm safe? Yihua Dong and Huang Baiji were speechless. Just who taught you? In fact, Wan didn't have anyone to teach her. Lord Ming thought that the more ordinary someone was, the more real they were. In the end, she was tricked. How are you going to report the mission? Someone will contact me when the time comes. I see. Yihua nodded his head. Wan stood at the side, gloomily, thinking that her mission had been discovered by the enemy. Looks like I didn't hide it well enough. Fortunately, I should be able to help Lord Ming this time and make up for my mistakes. Baiji, what are we going to do first? Yihua asked curiously. Up to you. You can go and do whatever you think is the easiest. Outside, Dongwang Baiji still listened to Yihua. Yihua nodded his head. Then, Let's make a trip to the Wei Sea first and deal with the Eastern Emperor family first. What? You guys are going to the Wei Sea. Deal with the Eastern Emperor family. Wan shouted out in surprise. This woman said that dealing with the Eastern Emperor family is the easiest, but this man actually said that he's going to deal with the Eastern Emperor family. Could it be that the Eastern Emperor family is the easiest in their hearts? They're definitely crazy. I am not going to be crazy along with them. They're simply going to throw their lives away. What's wrong? Can I? Yihua asked faintly. Of course not. The Eastern Emperor family is very powerful. If you guys go and deal with the Eastern Emperor family, you guys will definitely die. I won't be accompanying you guys. Wan wouldn't go to that kind of place even if she was beaten to death. That won't do. You have to lead the way for us. I won't go. I still have to serve Lord Ming. Wan said solemnly, giving off an attitude of if you guys want to go and seek death, I won't accompany you guys. Yihua smiled. Think about it. If you help your Lord Ming get rid of the Eastern Emperor family, wouldn't Lord Ming value you a lot? At that time, he might even favor you a lot. This man's words are a bit reasonable. If I were to get rid of the Eastern Emperor family, Lord Ming would definitely let me stay by Lord Ming's side and serve him. All right then. Isn't this answer a bit too fast? Yihua and Dongwang Baiji were very curious. Just what is this child's brain thinking? All right, we are currently in Ding province. How are we going to get to the Wei Sea? Yihua asked curiously. In actuality, since we are already here, we only need to teleport to the Wei Sea. However, since I promised to go on a trip with Baiji, no matter what, I have to take a look around. That's right, I just remembered in a few months' time, there will be a huge gathering at Tang Province's Tianshan Mountain. At that time, heroes from all over will be gathering there, and the scene will be rather lively. All right, Wan still doesn't want to go and seek death. Thus, she can only drag it on. What you mean to say is that the Eastern Emperor family will be going there too. Of course, there is also the one who just became a god, deity Ming Yao, who will be attending the gathering too. Speaking of deity Ming Yao, Wan's face was filled with adoration. Yihua felt that this should be a huge gathering. Thus, he asked curiously, Wan, is this gathering going to be a fight or something? Are there any prizes, for example, rare items? I'm not sure about that, but there should be. Then, how big is the scale of this gathering? Will all the people from the 9 provinces and 5 seas be attending? Yihua asked curiously. Of course, this gathering will be called Tianshan Mountain Cauldron Seeking. Yihua understood. Right now, I know where the Eastern Emperor family is located. With Wan around, I will be able to dig out that indestructible shrine at any time. What is left is Qing Su. That fellow loves lively scenes, especially when there are good things to be found. If this is really a big event, that fellow Qing Su will definitely be there. From the looks of it, I have to settle Qing Su first. After all, if I miss this village, I won't be able to find this shop anymore. If I want to find Qing Su in the future, it would be very difficult. All right, let's go to Tang Province then. Tianshan Mountain. Yihua decided. Dongwang Baiji more or less understood what Yihua meant. You should be going to look for Qing Su. After all, Qing Su is also in the 9 provinces and 5 seas. Whether or not he will be able to come will depend on his luck. Wan let out a sigh of relief. Going to Tianshan Mountain is at least better than going to Eastern Emperor family. Chapter 12:21. However, what Yihua didn't expect was that Qing Su was actually here, and furthermore, he was even currently in the brothel. However, Qing Su wasn't doing anything bad. Instead, he was talking to the obeson, who had a dumbfounded look on his face. Indestructible shrine. Just now, Qing Su felt that this obeson was a bit strange, and so he decided to ponder about it for a bit. As expected, there's a problem with this obeson. To actually be from Indestructible Shrine, what kind of person is he to actually dare to take such an arrogant name? Qing Su's fat face was filled with disdain. Indestructible Shrine? Do you have any large-scale events here? Qing Su asked indifferently. Beside him was a dumbfounded Do Fusher. To Qing Su, floating battle was still too weak, and he was currently looking for things to make floating battle even stronger. However, the required materials could only be found here, and he had no idea where to start, so he could only ask around. If he wanted to find out more information, he would naturally have to look for large-scale events. There would be a lot of information there. Abasang said with a dumbfounded expression, "Yes, there is. Tianshan Cauldron Contest will be held in Tangzhou. At that time, heroes from all walks of life will attend." When Qing Su heard this, he felt that it was interesting. Tianshan Cauldron Aspirations. This name sounded quite domineering. He just didn't know if it would have what he was looking for. Qing Su waved his hand, and Obasan walked out in a daze. He stood there for a long time before he came back to his senses. However, he didn't know what he was doing. With doubts, Obasan put on a professional smile and entertained the customers. The Qingshu smiled and said, "Little Daodu, let's go to Mount Heavenly Cauldron and gain some experience." Do Fusher nodded numbly. On the other side, Yihua was also preparing to head to Tang Province. However, this Tianshan Mountain tripod competition still needed to wait for more than a month. This caused Yihua to be a bit vexed. Where am I supposed to go during this 1 month? He could only accompany the Empress to have a good stroll. Of course, there was also a burden, Wan, by his side. This caused the Empress to be slightly unhappy. After all, it was a world of the two of them, and the sudden addition of a third wheel was still very displeasing. Moreover, this Wan was simply a chatterbox. If you didn't talk to her, she could talk on her own for an entire day. Dongwang Baiji couldn't hold it in any longer. Yihua felt that this Wan was rather interesting. To be able to converse with me for an entire day, she is simply invincible. Right now, Yihua and the others had already arrived at Tang Province. However, what Yihua didn't expect was that this Tang Province was actually smaller than Ding Province. The capital city was not as grand as the Ding Province. It felt similar to the Kangluo continent. However, the air in the Tang Province was very fresh, and it contained rich spiritual qi. People said that if you wanted to cultivate, you should go to the Tang Province. If you wanted to live a luxurious life, you should go to the Ding Province. The air here is truly too good. Dongwang Baiji shouted out happily. While running, Dongwang Baiji really did not care about her image at all. Yihua sighed helplessly. Fortunately, there isn't anyone in the surroundings. If there was someone who saw the Empress's little daughter acting like this, I would have no choice but to silence them. Wan said proudly, "Of course, the Tang Province has produced the most exalted gods. Even exalted goddess Mengyao lives in the Tang Province." Speaking of Mengyao, Yihua and Dongwang Baiji immediately thought of Yi. He was also a well-known existence here. I really didn't expect this. Wan, why haven't we seen any towns after walking for so long? Yihua asked curiously. Young Master Yi, there aren't many towns in the Tang Province. There are only sects and so on. Because the Tang Province is a province that mainly focuses on cultivation, not many people are willing to waste their time there. Looking at the boundless grassland and the mountains on the horizon, Yihua's mood was pretty good. Humans, when it's appropriate, it's still better to come out for a vacation to relax and disperse the haze in one's heart. How far are we from the heavenly mountain? Yihua asked faintly. It's still quite a distance, I guess. In any case, we just have to walk towards those mountains. Wan only knew this much. Yihua nodded his head. I hope that I will be able to bump into Qing Su this time. That would be perfect. I have already formulated a complete set of rules for Qing Su, and I guarantee that I will let Qing Su know what it means to be a boss. Since I was able to deal with you in the past, I'll be able to deal with you today as well. If not, how am I supposed to be your boss? In that way, Chong, I am really looking forward to it. It has already been a very long time since I exercised my muscles and bones. I hope that the two of you can give me some strength and not disappoint me. Just as Yihua was daydreaming and beating up his subordinates, a black figure suddenly descended from the sky and directly smashed onto the ground not far away from him. If I had walked a bit faster just now, that black figure would have directly smashed onto my head. This black figure is definitely a high-level scamming technique. Look, there are people coming. Along with the corpse falling onto the ground, another 2 people descended onto the ground. The 2 people looked at the corpse, then looked at Yihua, then shouted out gravely, "You killed someone." Yihua didn't expect that the two people were really scamming. Speaking of which, scamming is the same no matter where it is. Hand over the treasures that you have on you and the woman beside you, and we brothers can spare your life. Yihua stretched out his right hand and snapped his fingers while the two people were puzzled. Afterward, Yihua continued walking forward as if nothing had happened. Wanwan was very puzzled. These two people look quite formidable. Why are they standing there stupidly? Then Wanwan stretched out her hand and waved it in front of their eyes. There is no reaction at all. Wanwan hurriedly followed after Yihua. Yihua, who are those two people? Dongwang Baiji finally returned and asked curiously. They're scammers. I made them scammers forever. Yihua said faintly. This kind of person, I should teach him a good lesson. No matter what you do, don't try to blackmail me. Even if you take out two mountain-splitting axes and stand in front of me and shout that you are robbing me, I will still have to admire your courage. But, scammers, I will look down on you. Dongwang Baiji turned her head around and took a look, but did not say anything. Wanwan, does this kind of situation happen often? Yihua asked faintly. I'm not sure either. This is my first time coming to Tang City. This place sure isn't safe. Dongwang Baiji mumbled. Hearing that, Yihua laughed. Just who is the one that isn't safe here? Dongwang Baiji went into a daze for a moment. Then soon after, she laughed. The three people continued walking forward. A few hours later, a figure could be seen. The figure was big on the top and small on the bottom. If one were to observe carefully, one would find that there were actually two people carrying a person. These two people were naturally Qing, Su, and Do Fusher. Looking at the three people in front of him, Qing Su was a bit puzzled. Put me down. Do Fusher respectfully squatted down, and Qing Su walked forward to inspect the person. Qing Su's brows slightly wrinkled as he mumbled. This is an expert. This is definitely an expert. Do Fusher did not say anything. He was just like a robot. On the other hand, Qing Su was very surprised. To be able to kill someone without using any techniques, I admire this. Do Fusher remained silent. This person's strength is probably on par with mine. Qing Su was very arrogant and started bragging. Chapter 12:22. Right at this moment, 4 to 5 people descended from the sky and surrounded Qing Su and the others. Judging from their attire, they should be from the same group. Audacious, you actually dared to kill our people. Do you want to die? The man in the lead shouted and pulled out the blades in his hands. Qing Su touched his head and said, What do you guys want to do? What do we want to do? You killed our people, and you still ask us what we want to do? Kill them. Kill. Qing Su shook his head. I actually took the blame. Little Dodo, I will leave this to you. Qing Su didn't want to pay attention to these people and directly walked forward. Audacious, you actually dare to look down on us. A sharp sword could be seen piercing towards Qing Su's throat, but right at this moment, a big hand grabbed onto the sword's blade. The thumb lightly pressed down. A crisp sound rang out. The sharp sword broke, and Qing Su continued walking forward as if nothing had happened. Do Fusher's gaze turned cold. He grabbed onto the broken sword's blade and directly stabbed it into the man's forehead, instantly killing a man. Qing Su put his hands together, appearing to be very sincere. A few screams sounded out behind him, and then everything became quiet. We're still too slow. What should we think of? Qing Su muttered. Do Fusher returned to Qing Su's back and didn't say anything. In the misty land of Tang Province, Meng Yao stood beside the window and looked into the distance while opening the handkerchief in her hand. The lollipop had already become very small, and Meng Yao couldn't help but hold it in her mouth and let out a sigh of relief. Meng Yao. Meng Yao kept the lollipop in her mouth and slowly turned around. Mengli, what's the matter? Tianshan called an ascension is about to begin. You should be prepared. Mengli discovered that Meng Yao was very strange recently. Meng Yao would often stand here and stare blankly. Meng Yao sighed. I don't want to go anymore. You can go in my place. Meng Yao, Tianshan called an ascension, is a big matter of our Tang province. And, as the only god of Tang province, you should go and show the prestige of our Tang province. Mengli softly persuaded. Prestige. Everyone in the 9 provinces and 5 seas knows that I am the only female god. What prestige do I still need to show? Meng Yao, it's all in the past. Are you still thinking about it? It's not good for your cultivation, Meng Li said directly, not afraid of offending her. Meng Yao slowly closed her eyes. A person she didn't want to see appeared in front of her. The more she didn't want to see him, the clearer the figure became. It was like a nightmare. I know, Meng Yao said in a low voice. Meng Li advised, Meng Yao, if you go on like this, something bad will happen. You have to stabilize exalted deity's power now. Don't waste all your previous efforts. Don't make the same mistake again. Meng Yao nodded her head, expressing that she understood, but to really do it, it's so hard, really so hard. Right now, I'm finally able to experience my master situation. Love tribulations. It really is the most formidable tribulations, and only men who are heartless are able to get through it. Women. Meng Yao, the main reason why we're here is to congratulate you. You need to rest up. All right, go get some rest, Meng Yao said in a low voice, then sat down on the straw mat. Meng Li left with a peace of mind. However, after Meng Li left, Meng Yao opened her eyes, took out a lollipop, and put it in her mouth. He exhaled slightly. A month's time passed by very quickly. Yihua had already arrived at the foot of the legendary Heavenly Mountain. At the foot of the Heavenly Mountain, there was a surging river, and the entire mountain was just like a lone island that soared into the clouds. Yihua felt that bad review. They don't even have a place to stay, and they are still here at Heavenly Mountain? They are just a bunch of people who have nothing better to do. Whatever sect, whatever family, all of them are bragging to the heavens. I am not here to listen to you guys bragging. I am here to look for Qing Su. At the foot of the mountain, there were various sects and clans that were setting up their tents and visiting each other. However, Yihua was currently looking for Qing Su's figure. After looking around for a while, he still couldn't find Qing Su. This made Yihua feel that Qing Su wasn't coming. Did you see that fatty Qing Su? Yihua asked faintly. Dongwang Baiji was also helping to look for Qing Su, but she wasn't able to find him, and instead, she found a bunch of trouble. Behind Dongwang Baiji were a few youngsters, and from a single look, one could tell that they were disciples from some big sect. Their expressions were very arrogant, as if their father was the supreme overlord, and they could do whatever they wanted. I didn't manage to find him, Dongwang Baiji said helplessly. Who asked me to be so beautiful? I have brought trouble for Yihua again. At this moment, Wanwan also returned, and similarly, there were a few youngsters following behind her. The corner of Yihua's mouth twitched slightly. I told you guys to look for Qing Su, but in the end, you guys came back with a tail. Don't you know that I hate dealing with this kind of thing? And I already hate this kind of way of acting cool. It's not cool at all. Young lady, I am a disciple of Jiang family. Nice to meet you. One of the youngsters said with a smile. Young lady, I am a disciple of Eastern Imperial family. Can I walk with you? Young lady, I am. As expected, they were all from prestigious families. Even their target, the Dongwang clan, had come. Dongwang Baiji and Wan didn't say anything and directly stood behind Yihua. Yihua suddenly felt like calling his subordinates over. I really don't want to make a move on these small fries. They're simply wasting my stamina. What are you guys doing? Suddenly, a voice rang out. Dongwang Qingru could be seen walking over slowly, and then she was stunned. Yihua and Dongwang Baiji were also stunned. This is too much of a coincidence, right? The world is so big, and we actually met each other so quickly. Dongwang Qingru didn't know what to do. The floor manager told me to keep this a secret, and yet these two people actually came over. I'm finished. Lord Qingru, this woman, shut up. Scram. Dongwang Qingru shouted out angrily. Everyone noticed Dongwang Qingru's strange behavior and felt very astonished. Could it be that this woman wants to monopolize this place? Dongwang Qingru, this isn't good, right? Do you want to monopolize this place? That's right. After chasing away the disciple, you want to monopolize this place? What a bad idea. Eastern Imperial family is only like this, that's all. Dongwang Qingru didn't know what to say. From what the floor manager said, this is the Eastern Imperial family scandal. How can I possibly let others know about it? Yihua crooked his finger towards Dongwang Baiji. Such a frivolous action. If it was in the past, Dongwang Qingru would have flipped out long ago. However, I don't dare to do that now. This man is very scary. Dongwang Qingru pretended to be very tsundere and walked in front of Yihua. Since we have already met, when this matter ends, let's go to your family together, Yihua said faintly. However, Wan, who was at the side, immediately said, I won't be going. Hee. Yihua expressed that it was impossible. Wan didn't understand. Do you think that the Eastern Imperial family is your backyard, that you can just go there whenever you want? Don't you know that it is very scary? Dongwang Qingru was already a bit frightened. If I were to bring them over, and if they were to investigate this matter, I would have to bear a huge responsibility. Chapter 1223. If I don't bring him along, this man will definitely kill me. Since I'm going to die either way, I can only admit defeat. Who asked him to be so strong? I have no choice but to lower my head. Is there no boss coming? Yihua asked curiously and changed the topic. Dongwang Qingru nodded her head. Yes, the main purpose of this Tianshan Mountain competition is to congratulate Goddess Mengyao. Normally, family heads would only bring their regards. Just bring? Isn't this the same as looking down on that Goddess Mengyao? Yihua said faintly. The boss actually doesn't go out and let his underling bring him along. If this isn't looking down on her, then what is it? Dongwang Qingru didn't know how to explain it. This is just a matter of tradition. Would all the other gods have to come and congratulate a newly ascended god? Wouldn't that be very embarrassing? Furthermore, it's a woman. To be able to bring a gift is already a sign that they like her. At this moment, a colorful cloud flew over with a strong aura. Everyone couldn't help but look over, and their gazes were filled with respect. Could this be? The colorful cloud descended and a beautiful figure appeared. Everyone was stunned by the woman in front of them. They immediately cupped their hands and shouted, Greetings to Goddess Mengyao. The person who came was naturally Mengyao. To be honest, she didn't want to come, but she had to. However, when she saw Yihua, she felt a little weird. When she saw Dongwang Baiji behind Yihua, she knew that it was her. It's the emperor, not him. Everyone, you have worked hard. The gate of Tianshan Mountain has already opened. You can all go up now. Mengyao said gently. Actually, this Tianshan Mountain competition was a cultivation convention. Above Tianshan Mountain, there was dense spiritual energy. Gods wouldn't care about spiritual energy, but these disciples valued it. Training here for 7 days was equivalent to training outside for 700 days. To them, 700 years wasn't much, but it would be hard for them to get through it. Now that there was a chance, they naturally wouldn't let it go. Beauties were just fleeting clouds. It was more important to increase one's strength. Even Dongwang Qingru fought hard to get this spot. I'll go up first. Dongwang Qingru said softly. Yihua waved his hand. He didn't expect this Tianshan Mountain competition to be so boring. The only expert was Mengyao. Even now, she was not sure if that bastard Qingsu would come. After everyone ascended the heavenly mountain, Yihua looked at Mengyao and said faintly, To think that I would be able to meet her here. Yeah, what a coincidence, Mengyao muttered. You mistook me as Xiao Tian just now, right? Yihua couldn't help but say. In actuality, it could be seen that Mengyao was a bit disappointed just now. This little brother of his was actually able to make an exalted god worry about him. Not bad. He was quite capable. That's more like my younger brother, a man who can do great things. Woman was dumbfounded. She never expected them to know each other. How is that possible? How do they know each other? It seemed like they were very familiar with each other. No, Mengyao said softly. Yihua let out a long sigh, and his tone was filled with regret. Dongwang Baiji immediately knew what Yihua was going to do. Mengyao frowned slightly, not understanding what he meant. Mengyao, I'm afraid that you won't be able to see little Tian anymore in the future. Yihua appeared to be incomparably regretful, making it seem as if Yi Juetian had already died. At least, that was what Mengyao thought, but she was too embarrassed to ask. Could it be that something happened to him? That shouldn't be possible. He is such a powerful big brother. no matter what, nothing should happen to him. Yihua didn't say anything else and stood with his hands behind his back. Although you are a god, you are still a woman. I am very experienced. I don't believe that you won't ask. Let's see who can hold back. Dongwang Baiji poked Yihua. You are about the same. Other people indeed want to know, but they are too embarrassed to ask. Wanwan felt that it would be better for her to stay further away from Yihua, in case he killed her to silence her if she knew too much. After Wanwan left, Meng Yao really asked Yihua, "What's wrong?" Yihua was secretly delighted. Seems like this god Meng Yao is still worried about Xiao Tian. This is truly not easy. However, speaking of which, I was the one who tried to tear them apart in the past, so this time I will properly play the matchmaker. Whether or not they will be able to succeed, it all depends on whether or not they are fated to be together. 9 deaths and 1 lives. Yihua said faintly. As expected, after hearing Yihua say that 9 deaths and 1 lives, Meng Yao's brows tightly wrinkled, appearing to be very heavy. Her emotions were also very complicated. What do you mean? Meng Yao asked. Yihua shook his head. Meng Yao, Xiao Tian knows that he is guilty, so he went to a very dangerous place. I tried to stop him again and again, but it was to no avail. It was as if he was sending himself to death. Perhaps this is a kind of release. In the future, you will be able to be at ease. After all, this is just a calamity, don't take it to heart. Yihua said gravely, although it seemed like he was tearing apart Meng Yao. In actuality, he was just playing the matchmaker. Dongwang Baiji felt very helpless. This Moon Elder has become a Moon Elder again. Meng Yao said gravely, indeed, this is just a calamity, I won't take it to heart. What the F*CK? Is this not a normal path? Shouldn't I be asking about it? Right, let me tell you a secret. Yihua couldn't help but say. He decided to scam his little brother. Dongwang Baiji was very curious. What is Yihua going to tell me? Meng Yao was very curious about this secret. Didn't I give you a jade slip last time? However, the corresponding one is not with me anymore. It is with little Tian. I told him that you will be in trouble, and he will go and train without saying a word. When the time comes, I hope that he will be able to help you. However, little Tian will pretend to be me and help you. Dongwang Baiji was incomparably shocked. This person actually sold out little Tian just like that? Is this really a good thing? Yihua continued. If you want to see him, then just crush the jade slip. If you don't want to see him, then forget about it. However, I will definitely do what I promised you. You can keep this jade slip. You can choose which one you want to crush. Yihua gave another jade slip to Meng Yao. It could be counted as a kind of apology. Meng Yao took the jade slip and said in a low voice, "Thank you. No need. Then, I won't be accompanying you all anymore. I have to go and give a lecture," Meng Yao said in a low voice. After all, this Tianshan Mountain Ascension competition was still going on, and according to convention, I, the god, have to go and impart some of my experiences. This is the Tianshan Mountain Ascension competition. Even Yihua was misled by Wanwan. And here I thought that it was going to be some grand martial arts competition. To Yihua, this was just a small show, but to others with a god's guidance, it would be much easier for them. After Meng Yao left, Yihua lit up a stick of cigarette. Chapter 1224. Yihua, do you think that Meng Yao will look for little Tian? Dongwang Baiji asked curiously. Yihua shook his head. At the very least, it won't happen in a short period of time. Perhaps it won't happen in this lifetime. For something like fate, if it truly exists, it will definitely not be broken. You actually have such an epiphany? How fake? I still have my own views on the matters between a man and a woman. Yihua expressed that he was already an experienced person, and he was completely able to act arrogantly. Dongwang Baiji clicked her tongue. You really know how to boast. All right, you don't have to smoke anymore. These few days, you have been addicted to smoking. Dongwang Baiji snatched away the cigarette from Yihua's hand, then threw it away. Yihua smiled. Let's go. We should also go up and listen to the discussion and broaden our horizons. Since he had to wait for Dongwang Qingru, he decided to go up and listen. The mountain looked very tall, but there was still a teleportation formation at the bottom. It was really for lazy people. After passing through the teleportation formation, a huge compass appeared in front of them. The sky was black and dotted with stars. It was a very romantic scene. At the very least, Dongwang Baiji felt that it was very romantic. This kind of starry sky was truly rarely seen. Even Wan Wan was captivated. She fantasized about sitting here with Lord Ming and staying together forever. How wonderful would that be? Everyone was sitting cross-legged around the compass. Meng Yao was sitting in the center, talking about the great Tao. Yihua directly ignored it. This kind of thing is only useful to trick little kids. Can these people understand the great Tao that you, a god, are talking about? That does not exist. Fortunately, now that everyone was gathered together, it would be easier to find them. After all, with Qing Su's size, if he was really here, he would definitely be able to see it. Yihua took a glance, and the corner of his mouth arced up as he walked towards the left side. Dongwang Baiji hurriedly followed after Dongwang Baiji. Wan Wan, who was at the side, had yet to come back to her senses and was currently engrossed in looking at the starry sky. Yihua did indeed see an enormous figure in that iconic moment. It was truly hard for me to find it. Qing Su, I didn't expect that I understood you so well. I reckon that you are also cursing me in your heart, right? He was even caught by the Supreme Overlord. How tragic. Yihua directly sat cross-legged beside Qing Su. Dongwang Baiji had never seen Qing Su before, but she had seen Do Fushi before. Do Fushi was also coiled up to the side. At this time, Qing Su's eyes were closed. He rotated the Buddhist beads in his hand and slowly said, "Benefactor, you're really persistent." Qing Su, stop pretending, Yihua said faintly. Qing Su opened his eyes, but they were still aslit. "Benefactor, what exactly do you want?" "I want to hit you," Yihua said very straightforwardly. "If this fellow doesn't hit me, I will feel very apologetic in my heart." He glanced at Do Fushi, who had been turned into a fool by Qing Su. He didn't know if he could turn back. Qing Su heaved a sigh of relief. "Benefactor, there are many people who want to kill me, but none of them have succeeded." "That's right. No one is able to succeed, but I, the Supreme Overlord, am not a human," Yihua said gravely. These words stunned Qing Su. "Are you a transvestite?" Dongwang Baiji, who was at the back. "Why do I feel that all of Yihua's subordinates are a little Chinibu? Today, no matter what, I will beat you awake. If I can't wake you up, then I will keep beating you. I'll beat you until you wake up." "Benefactor, I know that you are very powerful. However, I'm not bad myself. If the two of us were to fight, I fear that these people would not be so lucky," Qing Su said coolly. He simply did not care about these people, treating them as though they were ants. "So, fighting is usually done by commoners and bastards. How about we play something a little more powerful?" Qing Su suggested. You wouldn't even think too much and said straightforwardly, "Sure, how do you want to play? How about we each send one person to represent us in the battle?" Yihua knew what Qing Su was thinking about, so it's still the same old trick as before. The reason why Qing Su wanted to make the world of solitude stronger was because he was experimenting. He felt a sense of accomplishment towards the world of solitude. After all, he had created it himself. Therefore, using something that he had created to participate in the battle would give him face even if he won. He was also quite confident in his floating battle. Sure, Yihua naturally wouldn't back down. "Since you, Qing Su, are able to make others stronger, I, the Supreme Overlord, am naturally able to make others stronger as well. Qing Su, your biggest weakness is that you underestimate my strength, and this kind of underestimation is fatal." "Little Do," Qing Su calmly called. Do Fushi opened his eyes, and his dark purple pupils deepened. "Yes." Floating World's voice made the surrounding people very unhappy. "You're sick. Don't you know how to be quiet?" "That's right, to be so arrogant in front of High God Meng Yao. Which sector are you from? State your name." "You are simply lacking in quality. How did this kind of person manage to sneak in?" Qing Su scratched his eyebrows. Just when he was about to curse at Do Fushi, he grabbed on his own neck, let out a deep roar, and rolled his eyes upwards. In just 2 breaths of time, his head tilted and he fell onto the ground. Even his primordial spirit didn't have the chance to jump out. He was instantly killed. One must know that all of the people present were all formidable existences, and any one of them would be an unparalleled existence in the gods' realm. But just now, all of them were instantly killed by Qing Su. Most probably, they wouldn't even know how they died. Following the collapse of those people, everyone stood up and looked at the scene with a heavy gaze, not knowing what had happened. At this moment, Meng Yao opened her eyes and looked at Yi Hua with her eyebrows tightly knitted. In the history of Heaven Mountain Ascension Tournament, there had never been a case where someone died. After all, this was just a lecture. Yi Hua didn't care about the life and death of those people. After all, Qing Su was more important. Don't make a ruckus. You all go and listen to your lecture. We will do our own thing. We will mind our own business. If you disturb me again, the consequences will be the same as them. Qing Su said coldly. He directly laid his cards on the table. You trash are annoying me. You all are just like flies buzzing around my ears. Meng Yao looked at Yi Hua, seemingly asking, is this person your friend? Yi Hua gave a look that said, you don't have to care about this fellow. You can't care about this fellow either. I have to use my strength to deal with him. Dongwang Baiji didn't expect Qing Su to be so abnormal. Everyone shut up. Qing Su's aura is very strong. We can't act rashly now. Let's wait and see what happens first. After all, Goddess Meng Yao hasn't even made a move yet. Since someone from Heaven Mountain Ascension Tournament died, you as Goddess Meng Yao should take care of this matter too, right? However, just as Meng Yao wanted to take care of this matter, she was stopped by Yi Hua. Benefactor, you should send someone else. The woman behind you is not good enough. Qing Su added. Seems like he knew that Dongwang Baiji's strength was definitely stronger than Do Fusher's. Yi Hua said faintly, don't worry, I will send the weakest person to fight. I'm looking forward to it. What Qing Su said wasn't a lie. Right now, everyone was listening to the conversation between Yi Hua and Qing Su. They weren't listening to anything else. Chapter 1225. Meng Yao was the same. Just what were they doing? Dongwang Qingru was also very puzzled. Are they going to send the weakest one? Why do they fight? Yi Hua shouted, Dongwang Qingru. Dongwang, who was sitting cross-legged not far away, responded softly. Everyone looked at Dongwang Qingru, as if they were saying, so you are the weakest existence that he mentioned. Dongwang Qingru was very puzzled. How did I become the weakest? In actuality, Yi Hua didn't know anyone else and only knew this one person. Dongwang asked weakly, what's the matter? Stand up. Dongwang Qingru felt very sullen. Do I have to stand up just because you asked me to? Dongwang Qingru, I'm going to stand up. Bite me. Don't think that you can order people around just because you are strong. He is indeed quite weak. Have you thought it through? Qing Su chuckled. Although he was smiling, the fat on his face made it impossible to tell that he was smiling. Dongwang Qingru felt very hurt. That's enough from the two of you. What do you mean by weak? Even I almost believe you. The people who were sitting around felt that Dongwang Qingru was indeed weak. It seemed to be the case. Come over. Yi Hua shouted out once again. Dongwang Qingru clenched her fist tightly. I will remember today's humiliation. One day, Dongwang Qingru, will be able to pat my chest and say, if you have the guts, you can humiliate me one more time. But today, you can humiliate me as you wish. Dongwang Qingru, will not even blink. I swear. Dongwang Qingru obediently walked to the side and looked at Do Fusher. She felt that this person was very evil, especially his eyes. Could it be that his opponent was him? All right, he was indeed a little weak. Should he change to someone stronger? At this moment, Yi Hua said faintly, we naturally have to be cautious in this competition. The reaction of a cultivator would naturally be extraordinary. Indeed, if a person's reaction speed is fast, he would naturally have an advantage. Qing Su nodded his head, agreeing with what Yi Hua said. Then, for the first round, how about we compete in reaction speed? Yi Hua said faintly. Sure, how do you want to compete? Yi Hua stretched out his hand, and two huge hammers could be seen appearing. The number 10 million was printed on it. looking at the big black hammer and the string of zeros on it. It seems like it is very heavy. Qing Su was a little confused. Dongwang Qingru picked up the hammer that was on the ground. Dongwang Qingru had thought that the hammer would be very heavy, but I never expected that it would be so light. It was like a feather. Do Fusher also gripped his hammer, his eyes filled with doubt. Qing Su curiously asked, "What does that mean?" Yihua briefly explained the rules. When Dongwang Baiji, who was behind Yihua, heard this, she thought to herself, Isn't this a little too formidable? You can even play like this. Wasn't it a little too careless? Dongwang Baiji wasn't the only one who felt this way. Everyone else felt the same way as well. Meng, Yao didn't understand just what was going on. Dongwang Qingru had already understood the rules of the game. This was indeed a result of cultivation, and strength was also very important. This rule seems interesting. Let's begin then, Qing Su said softly, feeling that this was a new idea. Do Fusher and Dongwang Qingru sat cross-legged on the ground with a hammer on their right and an iron pot in the middle. The two of them stared at each other deeply. Of course, Dongwang Qingru wouldn't allow herself to lose. Everyone here was from prestigious clans. If she lost, she would lose a lot of face. Therefore, he could only win. Yihua shouted out, "Dongwang Qingru, use a bit more strength and hammer him to death." If Do Fusher was still conscious, he would definitely feel wronged. "Your Honor, you can't keep scamming me like this, right?" However, the current floating world Do did not have such thoughts. He rubbed his hands together, his muscles tensed up as he stared at Dongwang Qingru. First of all, he couldn't lose when they stared at each other. Yihua shouted out, "Let's begin. Whoever's hammer breaks first will lose." This is a battle of reaction and strength. Indeed, with their strength, it would be a piece of cake for them to smash this balloon hammer. However, he couldn't smash it, so he had to control his strength. In the eyes of Do Fusher and Dongwang Qingru, it was as if they wanted to hammer the other party to death. They tried their best to control their strength so that the hammer would not explode. No one was in the mood to listen to the lecture anymore. Even Meng Yao was looking at the two of them. The atmosphere at the scene was a little tense and oppressive. Even the palms of the people sitting next to them were sweating. Do Fusher and Dongwang Qingru took a deep breath. It was as if they were going to fight. The two of them shouted in a stern voice, "Sure too. Scissors. Sure too." Dongwang Qingru's two hands were revealed, and the change in Dongwang Qingru's expression could be clearly seen. From nervousness to surprise, and then to distorted. That expression of hers seemed to be saying, "Brat, you are playing. I'm going to hammer you to death." Right now, a trace of a strange smile appeared on Yihua's face. Do Fusher was very strong right now, and with Dongwang Qingru's current strength, it was impossible for her to win against Do Fusher. Therefore, I have to add some extra strength to Dongwang Qingru's strength. This is not cheating. This is a symbol of strength. Dongwang Qingru didn't even know how fast she was. She picked up the hammer that was on her right hand and jumped up. Astral winds howled. That 100000 hammer seemed to carry the aura of death as it smashed down towards Do Fusher's forehead. Right now, Do Fusher wanted to cover his forehead with a black walk. However, bang. Before Do Fusher's hands could even touch his forehead, that black hammer smashed onto Do Fusher's forehead, and an explosive sound could even be heard. Do Fusher's forehead could be seen instantly becoming red and swollen. Dongwang Qingru felt that she was going to explode, and that distorted expression on her face was gradually replaced by a strange smile. Do Fusher rubbed his forehead, his face tensed up. At this moment, Qing Su was frowning slightly. Although it was a frown, it was not visible at all. "You're really amazing. You actually managed to raise this weakling to the same level as you in an instant," Qing Su said faintly. Yihua said in a low voice, "Qing Su, don't forget that there are a lot of concepts that I taught you." Qing Su didn't say anything. His tiny eyes seemed to be filled with craftiness. The game continued. Do Fusher, who had been struck by the hammer, had a serious expression on his face. Coupled with the red swelling on his forehead, He looked a little comical. Sure too. Scissors. Paper. Do Fusher was dumbfounded, and his hands immediately reached out to grab the pot. However, this time, Dong Wang Qingrou's speed was even faster. Do Fusher still hadn't gotten the walk. Boom! A cyclone suddenly erupted, and everyone couldn't help but raise their hands to stop it. Dong Wang Qingru had a crazed look on her face. She had controlled her attack very well just now. Her hammer did not break, but had inflicted heavy damage on him. Take a look. His head was crooked. Do Fusher clenched his fists tightly, his eyes filled with savagery. If I win, this person will die. At this moment, Yihua laughed lightly. Qing Su, it seems like your plan isn't very good. Haha, the outcome of the battle has yet to be revealed. It isn't like whoever wins will win. Although Qing Su said that, he still felt that his face was being thrown away. End of this chapter. Chapter 1226. This Do Fusher. Do you even know how to play rock, paper, scissors? Why are you so weak? You let others win twice, and this time, your head is crooked. You may be shameless, but I am. Dong Wang Baiji had never seen such a game before. If it was an ordinary person, that person might have already turned into minced meat. Yet, Do Fusher's head was actually only tilted to one side. It seems like this subordinate of Yihua is truly very strong. Seeing Do Fusher being hammered so ruthlessly, the surrounding people all sucked in a breath of cold air. This was simply too savage. If it was him, that blow just now would have knocked his head off. Meng Yao felt like this wasn't a game at all. She was practically trying to beat her opponent to death. Dong Wang Qingru, who had won 2 rounds in a row, was very excited. This game is really good. When I return to my clan, I can let my disciples play this game. Especially at the moment when he won, he felt like hammering his opponent to death. It felt so good. Do Fusher slowly raised his head and stared at Dong Wang Qingru, the veins on his forehead bulging. However, the match continued. The two continued. Sure too. Scissors. Step. Everyone's mouth twitched. That purple-eyed man was too unlucky. Have you never won in rock, paper, scissors? He actually lost again. Right now, Dong Wang Qingru could skillfully control the strength of the hammer. She didn't break the hammer just now, and she could continue to increase the strength. Do Fusher stared at his scissors in disbelief. Why did this guy drop 3 rocks in a row? Was this person the devil? That's right, Dong Wang Qingru used 3 rocks, while Do of the World used 3 scissors. This wasn't just a battle of reaction speed and strength. It was also a battle of intelligence. Qing Su's complexion darkened. This idiot, can't you change a little? You actually used scissors 3 times? Are you Shoair? Yihua shook his head. Even if Do Fusher had become stronger because of Qing Su, his foolish personality is still the same. Dong Wang Baiji shook her head. This Do Fusher is truly an idiot. Change. Dong Wang Qingru was very proud of herself. It was as if she had already won. She immediately picked up the hammer and smashed it down. This time, Do Fusher did not take the blame. Boom! Dong Wang Qingru's attack was very heavy. Do Fusher's head was smashed into the ground. Everyone felt the pain just by looking at it. Meng Yao felt that Dong Wang Qingru's strength had increased by a lot. It shouldn't have been like this in the beginning. How did it suddenly increase by so much? Right at this moment, Yihua said to Dong Wang Baiji, who was behind him, "How about we go back home and have some fun as well?" "Sure, it's settled then." With a strained smile on his face, Yihua said, "It's settled then." Dong Wang Baiji didn't expect that Yihua would be the kind of person who doesn't even recognize his own family when he starts beating you up. He completely doesn't see you as his wife. Do Fusher pulled his face out of the ground. There was an obvious face print on the ground, and there was even a little bit of blood. Because Do Fusher's nose was bleeding, it was a waste. His hairstyle was also messed up. His jet cut had been hammered into a pot cut. Looking at Dong Wang Qingru, she waved the hammer in her hand as if she was extremely confident. His expression was indeed asking for a beating. At this moment, Yihua said faintly, "Keep a low profile." All right, Dongwang Qingru shouted loudly. She slowly sat down and placed the hammer at the side. He didn't expect the feeling of beating someone up to be so satisfying. It was simply a sublimation of the soul. Why didn't he realize this before? Right now, Qing Su felt a bit uncomfortable and shouted out, "Went around for me." Hearing that, Do Fusher's expression became grave. However, he still nodded his head. The competition continued. Stone, scissors, cloth, swish. 2 hands appeared. Everyone was astonished. They didn't expect that Do Fusher was actually a pair of scissors. However, Dongwang Qingru became a piece of cloth. Dongwang Qingru hurriedly picked up the black pot in front of her and placed it on her head with a complacent look on her face. Is your speed faster than mine? However, very quickly, everyone discovered that something was different. Do Fusher's speed wasn't very fast, but his entire body had become malevolent. His expression seemed to be both smiling and crying at the same time. When Dongwang Qingru saw Do Fusher's expression, she was a bit stupefied. Right now, Do Fusher's aura gradually became stronger, and a gale formed around his body. Do Fusher could be seen holding onto the hammer, and with a sinister look on his face, he said, "You are dead for sure." Boom! Intense killing intent was being emitted out from Do Fusher's body, and Dongwang Qingru felt as if she could see a bloody mouth appearing behind Do Fusher. That was a demon opening up the gates of hell. Ferocious killing intent engulfed the entire place. Do Fusher raised his hammer high up, and his deathly gaze seemed to be telling Dongwang Qingru, "I'm going to smash you into meat paste." The immense pressure caused Dongwang Qingru to feel that this fellow has gone mad. He would rather smash his hammer into pieces than kill me. This is breaking the rules. Right now, Qing Su had a smile on his face. In actuality, the rules of the game are, whoever lives will die. The one who lives will always be the winner. Yihua's expression remained the same, and he appeared to be very calm. However, Dongwang Baiji was different. Do Fusher actually broke the rules. Yesterday morning, everyone in the surroundings also had a look of astonishment on their faces. If Dongwang Qingru was like this just now, the purple-eyed man would have been smashed into pieces countless times. He is still too young. Right now, Meng Yao didn't even know what to say. This is too childish, too careless. As Do Fusher raised his hammer, Dongwang Qingru felt that she was done for. Boom, boom, boom. When the hammer landed, the entire heaven mountain seemed to be shaking, and cracks appeared on the enormous compass, seeming as if the compass was about to break apart. Meanwhile, Dongwang Qingru's position had already become a deep pit. The hammer in Do Fusher's hand had already disappeared, and it was evident that it had been smashed into pieces. This is simply too terrifying. If Do Fusher's head were to be smashed into pieces, he would definitely turn into meat paste. Dongwang Qingru floated in the air and held on her chest. This scoundrel, he actually broke the rules just to kill me. At this moment, Yihua said faintly, "You lost." However, the rules were that whoever's hammer was the first to break would be the one to lose. In order to get rid of Dongwang Qingru, Do Fusher didn't hesitate to use his hammer to exchange for Dongwang Qingru. However, it was a pity that Dongwang Qingru's speed seemed to be even faster than Do Fusher's. With a smile on his face, Qing Su said, No, your man ran away." "Oh, then what should we do now?" "Let's count it as a draw." Yuan nodded his head and didn't explain too much. Do Fusher walked back slowly. Dongwang Qingru was feeling great, and thus she sat at the side. Everyone became quiet again. What are these two perverts trying to do? "Seems like we still have to step out," Qing Su said faintly. Yihua was never one to back down. Nodding his head, he said, "All right, it's our turn. However, let's not compete in strength. How about we compete in something else instead?" "Sure. I was the one who thought of the game just now, so you will be the one to compete in the next game." Yihua appeared to be very generous, and thus, he let Qing Su come out with the game. Qing Su didn't act courteous and said faintly, "How about we compete in poison?" Yihua went into a slight daze. Poison is Qing Su's forte. The so-called compete in poison was to make a poison each and have the other party swallow. End of this chapter. Chapter 12:27. Then they would concoct the antidote. If anyone failed to concoct the antidote, they would die. This was also the most effective method of Ching Su. It was simply an inhumane game. Everyone still didn't understand what he meant by playing with poison. Could it be that he wanted to fight poison with poison? Meng Yao was also puzzled. How was she supposed to play with poison? Yi Hua and Ching Su stood up at the same time, then walked to the center of the square, and the two of them were separated by a distance of 30 meters. At this moment, Yi Hua said faintly, "Poison naturally has to be extracted from a poisonous object. However, if you want to extract poison from a non-poisonous object, it will naturally be difficult." Ching Su agreed with him. He said softly, "That's right. Even if it's not poisonous, it's still poisonous. How can the world distinguish between them?" The people sitting around were confused. What did he mean? They didn't understand. Yi Hua expressed that he didn't understand what Yi Hua said, but he had to pretend that he understood what Yi Hua said. "We'll use the same herbs to make the poison, and then use the same herbs to make the antidote. How about that?" Ching Su liked the suggestion very much. "Of course." Yi Hua nodded his head, then said to Meng Yao, "Prepare 10 types of the most common medicinal herbs for us, and all of them are non-poisonous." Meng Yao was looking forward to it. But before Meng Yao could do anything, someone went to pick the herbs. After all, there were herbs everywhere outside of Sky Mountain. Some are ordinary, some are precious. In the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, all 10 types of medicinal herbs were placed in front of Yi Hua and Ching Su. Yi Hua and Ching Su slightly frowned. After all, the clash between the medicinal herbs and the medicinal properties were very particular. Of course, Yi Hua had to be cautious. After all, the other party was Ching Su, an expert in using poison. If Ching Su were to faint after being poisoned by his subordinate, it would be a very shameful thing if this matter were to spread out. Right now, Ching Su was also very serious, because he knew how formidable Yi Hua was. All of the 10 medicinal herbs that Yi Hua gave to Ching Su were non-toxic. How was he going to refine poison like this? The people who went out to serve the dishes were also very cunning. They were not ordinary people, and they also had some understanding of medicinal herbs. He knew that there were some medicinal herbs that could not be refined into poison, so he made 10 of them that could not be refined at all. I like to see how you're going to turn non-poisonous into poisonous. If it really works, then you guys are really good. Yi Hua and Ching Su were both a bit solemn. They felt that this wasn't a question that was given to the other party, but rather, it was a question that was given to the two of us. No, to Yi Hua and Ching Su, this kind of thing was a challenge, and they had never tried it before. Refining poison was a piece of cake for the two of them. First, he needed a cauldron. As a poison refiner, Ching Su naturally had his own cauldron. This was a different cauldron. With a bang, this strange cauldron fell beside Ching Su. This was a rectangular cauldron furnace. However, most cauldron furnaces were round. This shape was very rare. However, this one was meandering like a river. When Yi Hua saw the cauldron that Ching Su took out, he wasn't surprised at all. It was the same cauldron that Ching Su took out. Great Spring Cauldron. This was the cauldron that Ching Su had been using all along. Yi Hua didn't know where Ching Su got this cauldron from. In the past, Yi Hua wanted to ask Ching Su to change the cauldron, but Ching Su didn't want to change the cauldron and said that he was used to using it. Yi Hua didn't force Ching Su to change the cauldron. In actuality, right now, Yi Hua felt that this furnace was just like a barbecue grill. By placing a bit of charcoal in the middle of the furnace, it would definitely be able to start a barbecue feast. The others were also a little confused about this barbecue rack. After all, it didn't look like a furnace at all. However, when Yi Hua took out the furnace, everyone was shocked. The moment this furnace was taken out, a delightful fragrance wafted out. Everyone who was sitting here had eaten quite a bit of medicine, and they were already used to the fragrance. However, when they smelled this fragrance, everyone revealed a comfortable expression and even seemed to be intoxicated. It was as if they had returned to their mother's embrace. Meng Yao was also very shocked. This cauldron should be quite old. In the past, Yihua planned to give this cauldron to Qing Su, but Qing Su didn't want it, so he kept it. This cauldron was called Danxia. Its origin was unknown, and Yihua picked it up from the roadside. At that time, everyone was very shocked. Who would be able to throw such an amazing cauldron on the roadside? Isn't this person's ambition too big? However, the truth was that Yihua really picked it up from the roadside. Qing Su looked towards Danxia, and his gaze was a little strange. Why do I feel that this cauldron is very familiar, as if I have seen it somewhere before? Yihua noticed Qing Su's gaze. Of course you have seen it before. Even if I gave it to you, you wouldn't want it. With the appearance of the two cauldrons, it could be seen who was strong and who was weak. Yihua definitely had to appear strong, and he also had to look handsome and kind. Therefore, most of the people would support Yihua. That damn Baldy, he was so fierce just now. He really killed someone just because of a disagreement. I'm going to curse you to lose. I'm going to curse you to death. This cauldron is not bad, Qing Su said with a smile. Yihua smiled too. I will give it to you. Do you want it? I can't afford it. I'm already used to using this cauldron. You should just keep your high-grade cauldron for yourself. After Qing Su finished speaking, he went into a daze. Yihua smiled, but didn't say anything. Back then, Qing Su also said the same thing. I didn't expect that he still remembered it. Qing Su adjusted his state of mind. The two strange things that happened just now made me very puzzled. Just what is going on? Why did such a thing happen? Dongwang Baiji looked at the two of them. The relationship between the two of them back then, and now, it has become like this. Dongwang Qingru looked at the two of them very puzzled. She suddenly realized that the two of them actually looked like good gay friends. That fatty was throwing a tantrum, so this handsome guy is coaxing the fatty. This should be how it should be. What good gay friend for a lifetime. Right now, the two of them were officially immersed in concocting medicine, and that was looking at the medicinal ingredients. Even weeds have appeared. Are these people serious? If these medicinal ingredients can be used to concoct poison, then this is simply invincible. Yihua deeply wrinkled his brows. To be able to make Yihua frown so deeply, it seems like we have encountered a very difficult problem. Even the poison master Qing Su was tightly wrinkling his brows right now, not daring to relax at all. In the past, Yihua and Qing Su had only exchanged pointers on how to concoct poison. In theory, Yihua was slightly better than Qing Su, but in actual combat, Qing Su was far ahead of Yihua. After all, Yihua wasn't interested in stabbing people in the back, so he didn't want to concoct poison. But right now, how is it possible to concoct poison from these medicinal ingredients in front of me? Not only Yihua was thinking like this, even Qing Su was thinking like this. If I am able to concoct poison, I will go and eat shit. Those disciples who went to gather medicinal ingredients had strange smiles on their faces. If you guys are able to concoct poison, I will go and eat all of the shit at the foot of the mountain. Just when everyone was puzzled, Yihua moved. This move of his, even Qing Su was a bit stupefied. Did this man understand? With a calm look on his face, Yihua weighed the medicinal ingredients in his hand for a bit, then placed them into the cauldron. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. Is this fellow serious? A drop of sweat appeared on Qing Su's forehead. In terms of concocting poison, I have never lost before. End of this chapter. Chapter 1228. With the combination of these medicinal ingredients, one of them will definitely be able to concoct a poison. Just which one will it be? Qing Su slightly looked towards Yihua, seemingly wanting to see which medicinal ingredient Yihua would choose. However, Yihua just happened to raise his head and look over, causing Qing Su to hurriedly lower his head. Everyone saw Yihua's expression. Seems like this fatty is not going to make it. When Dongwang Baiji saw Yihua smile, she knew that he was bluffing. I reckon that Yihua is just randomly placing the medicinal ingredients to disturb Qing Su's judgment. The more Qing Su's mind is in a mess, the more he won't be able to concentrate. Seems like my wife knows my man the best. Yihua was indeed trying to scare Qing Su. Although Yihua was just bluffing, Yihua still had his own way of thinking. After all, How could I possibly lose to Yihua? He was especially serious about every single battle. If you didn't believe me, you could go and ask the Empress if she was serious about every single battle. Qing Su's gaze swept across the medicinal ingredients, pinching and smelling them. And finally, he started. Meanwhile, Yihua's side was already starting to heat up. When concocting medicine, what is important is the heat. When the heat is right, the medicine will naturally be good. Other than the heat, the flame is also an important factor. A ball of white flame could be seen emerging from Yihua's left hand, and a ball of black flame could be seen emerging from his right hand. The black and white flames were trembling like spirits. Everyone knew what this is. Even in the 9 provinces and 5 seas, deviant flames are rare. This man actually has 2 deviant flames. He is simply a nouveau riche. No wonder he is so strong. Qing Su looked at the deviant flame in Yihua's hand and slightly wrinkled his brows. As the deviant flame in Yihua's hand burned, the furnace actually showed a state of 1 black and 1 white. Such a situation caused everyone to exclaim in admiration. Can be done like this? Meanwhile, Qing Su also started placing the medicinal ingredients. Everyone noticed that Qing Su's actions were very standard, while Yihua's actions were rather unpracticed. From this, it could be seen who is the master. Qing Su is also a man who had a deviant flame. In his hand was a ball of blue deviant flame. Following Qing Su's shout, the blue flame began burning the barbecue grill. At this moment, Yihua said faintly, "To be honest, if you bring some barbecue grill over, I think I'll be able to get a few skewers." Dongwang Baiji shook her head. This Yihua, he only wants to eat all day long. He is currently in the middle of a competition. Can't he be a bit more serious? If Yihua were to know of Dongwang Baiji's thoughts, he would definitely teach her a lesson. You really have long hair, but your knowledge is short. The Supreme Overlord, was obviously tricking him. Do you really think that I, the Supreme Overlord, am that free? Right now, Qing Su was completely ignoring Yihua and was concentrating on concocting the medicine. Seeing that it was useless, Yihua kept his mouth shut. Meng Yao sat in the middle, her brows furrowed. She had all sorts of questions about her big brother, the Emperor. After quite a while, Yihua put away the fire. A black and white pill appeared. Everyone felt that based on its color, it was definitely a highly toxic item. Even Dongwang Baiji felt that there was a problem with this pill. Of course, Qing Su had also seen it. His eyes gradually became solemn. Puff! Qing Su had also finished concocting the medicine. A black pill floated in the air. Everyone couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. Those were non-toxic medicinal ingredients, and the 2 of them had actually extracted poison from non-toxic medicinal ingredients. The most common poison was black in color. As it advanced, there would be some other colors in the middle of the black, but ultimately, it was still black. Even these 2 pills appeared. He couldn't help but admire these 2 geniuses. It would truly be a waste of talent to not go and concoct fake medicine. Yihua and Qing Su could be seen waving their right hands, and the poison that they concocted flew into each other's hands. And then, without saying a word, they swallowed the poison together. This caused everyone to be stupefied. Dongwang Baiji was stupefied. What is Yihua doing? Is he crazy? Meng Yao was dumbfounded. The 2 of them? Are they courting death? Didn't they say that they were going to compete in concocting poison? Isn't this a competition to see whose poison is higher? Why did the 2 of you swallow the poison without saying a word? What are the 2 of you doing? Everyone had a face full of astonishment towards the situation just now. I have never seen someone competing in concocting poison like this. Do you want to speak first? Or should I? Yihua asked faintly. I will speak first. Qing Su said gravely. After swallowing the poison, he felt that his heart was heavy. Taking a deep breath, Qing Su said, "The poison that I concocted just now is a new type of poison. I call it OXX number 2. Yihua, I seem to have opened a website like this before. The knowledge that is contained within the website is very rich. It is just like an ocean of learning. I, the Supreme Overlord, have been learning for a month, and I only managed to comprehend half of the ultimate technique. Now that I am using it on my wife, I feel rather comfortable. If you want to learn techniques, come to OXX number 2. Its purpose is to make you poop, Ching Su said gravely. In actuality, even after looking at it for a long time, I still don't think that I will be able to concoct a poison. The only poison that I can concoct is probably a laxative. Without a choice, I can only brace myself and concoct a laxative. Yi Hua's expression became grave as he said gravely, "This is a laxative? Of course, furthermore, this is a strong laxative. There is no antidote in these medicinal herbs, so..." Ching Su had a look of "you understand" on his face, as if he had already seen that Yi Hua was going to poop on his pants. Yi Hua's stomach let out a grumble, and everyone heard it. "I feel that I'm going to take a dump soon. If I don't take a dump soon, I'm going to poop on my pants." Yi Hua didn't expect that Ching Su would be so ruthless. He knew that I, the Supreme Overlord, care about my face the most. If I were to poop in front of so many people, I would truly lose all of my face. Furthermore, I indeed feel that I'm going to poop soon. This bastard. Now, it's your turn to speak. Ching Su was very proud of himself. Go ahead and shit. If that's the case, I will be the winner of this competition. Yi Hua said gravely. Since you are this vicious, then don't blame me for being heartless. This is not a laxative. This is Indian divine oil. Indian holy oil? Everyone was confused. Dongwang Baiji naturally knew what Indian divine oil was. This shameless fellow actually dared to say it out loud. And furthermore, could it be that Yi Hua had been using it all this time? It's very likely that I shouldn't say it out loud. This kind of thing shouldn't affect the man too much. I'll pretend that I don't know anything in the future. However, this caused the entire team to know that his honor was using Indian divine oil. Do you know what is called black and white? You don't know? Then, I'll make it simpler. Do you understand yin and yang intercourse? This is the ability of my deviant fire. Along with Yi Hua's words, everyone was astonished. So he relied on the deviant flame to apply the poison. What a cunning man. It's actually an item that combines yin and yang. Damn it. I wonder how the effect will be like. Everyone looked at the same spot where Ching Su was. But Ching Su's stomach was too big, and it was completely impossible for them to see anything. The faces of all the women present became slightly red. I'm simply speechless. Ching Su was astonished. You actually gave me an aphrodisiac. End of this chapter. Chapter 1229. Same here. Let's see who can endure it, or who can lose face. Yi Hua was already holding it in. No, I still have to cheat. Ching Su is a man with professional ethics. He definitely wouldn't do such a thing. Yi Hua was naturally a man with principles. He naturally wouldn't cheat in such a situation. Do I look like a man who cheats? That doesn't exist. I will only use my strength to prove everything. Thus, I can hold it in. But what about you, Ching Su? Can you hold it in? This is the Indian divine oil that is made from 2 kinds of deviant flames. It is colorless and tasteless, the kind that you will want to eat even more after eating it. Right now, Ching Su is already sweating. After all, Ching Su only had the body of an ordinary person. How could he withstand the Indian divine oil? His face began to distort. At this moment, Ching Su turned his head and looked towards Do Fusher. At this moment, Do Fusher, who was already in a daze, trembled. Yi Hua sighed in his heart. Do Fusher, you are really unlucky no matter where you go, sigh. Right now, Yi Hua was also feeling a bit uncomfortable. This laxative is really quite powerful, especially with the addition of deviant flames. I feel like I'm going to jump out. Ching Su wasn't much better off. Just like Yi Hua, his face was already red. Both of them knew that there was no antidote. They could either release the laxative or die from holding it in. Looking at the two's red faces, everyone exclaimed in admiration in their hearts. They can even hold it in. You two are truly the strongest kings. I'm convinced. Expert, how about we stop here? Ching Su said in a low voice. He was already at the edge. Yi Hua had a calm look on his face, but he knew in his heart that he was already at the edge and was about to burst out. Even if I'm going to die, I have to smile. Ching Su, how can we stop here? The victor hasn't even been decided yet. Yihua said with a smile, appearing to be very relaxed. Just that slightly red face of his seemed to have already been betrayed. Ching Su's face became distorted. Expert, how about we play something else? I know that you can't hold it in anymore. When the time comes, we will lose face together. F***K. I have already hidden it so deeply, but I was still discovered. All right, then this sentence counts as a draw. Sure. Ching Su finally let out a breath. After finished speaking, Yihua disappeared. He must have definitely gone to squat in the toilet. Needless to say, when I squat in the toilet to relieve myself, that kind of pleasure is simply incomparable. Ching Su quickly took out the antidote and swallowed it. Only then did he feel much better. From this matter, it could be seen that Yihua and Ching Su were both upright and above-board people. So how could it be possible for them to cheat? Soon, the two of them returned to the scene with a relaxed expression. One was having a good time defecating, while the other was having a good time taking pills. Then now, what do you still want to compete in? Yihua asked faintly. Ching Su had a dignified look on his face. This man was more powerful than he had imagined. His poison should have some effect on him. What do you want to play? Yihua said faintly. How about we have a dream? Dream realm? Ching Su was a little confused. Yes, a dreamlike game of hide-and-seek. On the other hand, Ching Su felt that this was interesting. Without any fear, Ching Su directly agreed to Ching Su's suggestion. Yihua was about to give Ching Su a thumbs up. You don't even need to use your brain. If I, the Supreme Overlord, wanted to plot against you, I would have succeeded very quickly. At this moment, everyone was very curious and wanted to hear what the rules were. Yihua smiled and did not say anything. Are you ready? Yihua asked lightly. Come. Ching Su said faintly and slowly closed his eyes. Yihua nodded his head and slowly closed his eyes. Ching Su felt that he had entered into an illusion, and he suddenly opened his eyes. The scene that appeared in front of him caused Ching Su to go into a daze. Ching Su slowly stretched out his hand. His fingers were very slender and had the appearance of a woman. Ching Su touched his own face. I'm not fat at all, what's going on? Looking at the surroundings, there was a total of 7 people standing there. Among them, there was a skeleton that was standing at the center position, and the skeleton seemed very cold and arrogant. Who designed this position? I, Ching Su, am not convinced. But why do these people look so familiar? As if I have known them before. Not far away, there was also a total of 100+ people standing there, and they looked very aggressive. However, on my side, there's only a total of 8 people. It is obvious that I'm a little lacking. But what the hell is there to be afraid of? I only have one word, and that is fight. Ching Su felt that his body was not under his control, and when he really rushed out, the first thing he felt was, isn't this too sloppy? Aren't they going to discuss the plan first? Fighting brainlessly will cause people to die. But right now, he had already rushed out, and when Ching Su saw that there was a twin-tailed girl that was hit by the skeleton, not knowing why, Ching Su felt very angry in his heart. I just want to kill all of these people in front of me. Ching Su discovered that not only was he very angry, everyone else was also very angry. That skeleton that was carrying that little girl seemed to be very sad, and this kind of sadness seemed to be transmitted to everyone. Ching Su felt that he had been infected by the skeleton, and he just wanted to fight to the death with these trash and kill them all. Ching Su saw that the number of people around him was getting lesser and lesser, and seeing them fall down just like that, Ching Su felt very uncomfortable in his heart. In the end, Ching Su saw a skeleton standing in front of him, and there were 60+ overlords standing in front of him. Ching Su heard the skeleton saying faintly, "See you in the next life." After finished speaking, the skeleton rushed out. Looking at the corpses around him, Ching Su was confused. What is going on? Why do I feel so sad in my heart? Back then, why did Ching Su kill so many people? It was because everyone realized that they had fallen into a trap, and thus, they chose to fight to protect Ching Su. Qing Su was the only attacker, but after Yi Hua fell down, Qing Su, who had no one to protect him, died. Therefore, this was also the reason why Qing Su wanted to create a powerful servant. Subconsciously, Qing Su did so to protect himself. Qing Su watched as his body fell down, but he was powerless to do anything. He could even see those overlords cheering and celebrating their victory. In the end, the overlords placed the corpses together and burned them with deviant fire. They were burned just like that. Qing Su suddenly heard a voice ring out, and a skeleton walked over from his side. Isn't this that skeleton from just now? Why is he here? Did he die from waiting for so long? Right now, Qing Su didn't even know if he was in reality or if he was in a dream. I am with you, Yi Hua said faintly, then transformed back into his human form. Qing Su looked at Yi Hua blankly. Who are you? Don't you have any idea who I am? These are all the memories in your mind, and you should be very clear about them. Yi Hua said gravely. Impossible. How can there be such things in my mind? It is definitely you. Qing Su, did you see that? Back then, everyone died in battle, and I have to bear a lot of responsibility. Yi Hua let out a long sigh. Although it is a pity, the heavens have opened their eyes and didn't let everyone leave. Qing Su didn't say anything and looked at those overlords. Those faces seemed very familiar to me. End of this chapter. Chapter 1230. Qing Su, you're the most special existence in the team, so don't disappoint everyone. Yi Hua stretched out his hand and patted on Qing Su's shoulder. Qing Su still found it a bit hard to believe all of this. He looked at the man in front of him. Is what he said true or false? Follow me and give it a try. When the time comes, we will know if what I said is true or false. Yi Hua said indifferently. He knew that it wouldn't be easy to deal with Qing Su, so he had to use another method. Qing Su looked at the scene. This familiar feeling won't lie. Seeing that Qing Su had tacitly agreed, Yi Hua finally let out a sigh of relief. Of course, he didn't expect that he would be able to deal with Qing Su just by having him recall what happened back then. After exiting the dreamland, Yi Hua and Qing Su opened their eyes. Everyone was curious. Who would win between the two? Qing Su didn't say anything and sat in the crowd. Yi Hua did the same and sat in the crowd. Everyone was a little confused. What was going on? Why didn't they say something? Who won and who lost in the end? To actually not announce it, this is too suspenseful. Even Dongwang Baiji couldn't help but ask softly, Yi Hua, just who won? Other than myself. Do you think there is any other possibility? Yi Hua said softly. This Qing Su is a bit hard to deal with. Right now, I only need to dig out those precious fragments. Next up, I need even stronger evidence. If not, when this Qing Su goes crazy, I will have no choice but to deal with him. Yi Hua, what do you plan to do now? Dongwang Baiji asked curiously. Yi Hua said softly, one step at a time. After this is over, I will go over to the Eastern Emperor clan and take a look at the situation. You are really going over? Dongwang Baiji cried out in surprise. What, do you think that I am joking? I, the Supreme Overlord, have never joked around. Yi Hua said gravely. The words that I, the Supreme Overlord, have always been serious. Dongwang Baiji said softly. Yi Hua, I understand your intention, but I really don't want to cause unnecessary trouble. I also don't want to look into what happened in the past. In actuality, Dongwang Baiji was still worried that Yi Hua would cause the crowd to attack him again. I allow you to take back what you just said, then reorganize your words and say it one more time. Yi Hua said gravely. Yi Hua sure has a way of lecturing people. The surrounding students were all frightened to the point that they were trembling. I really don't know what to do, Dongwang Baiji said helplessly. Yi Hua laughed lightly. If you have a way, this seat of mine will be yours. Who cares about your seat? I'm just worried that something will happen to you. Baiji, you think too highly of those people. It's just a matter of waving their hands. After that, I want your father to get justice. Or other elders. After hearing what Yi Hua said, Dongwang Baiji felt very moved. Although I don't know the truth of the matter, it is truly great that Yi Hua has such thoughts. When the time comes, I'll have to think of a way to act cool. Yi Huayu muttered. Originally, Dongwang Baiji was still very touched by Yi Hua's words, but she was immediately pulled back to reality. Dongwang Qingru, come here, I want to ask you a few questions. Great God, please ask. Dongwang Qingru shouted out respectfully. However, I, Dongwang Qingru, swear that if I admit defeat now, it will be a sacrifice for the future. A person can only grow while being ridiculed. If no one forces you, you wouldn't even know how strong your own ability is. Yi Hua asked lightly, is there any scandal in your Eastern Emperor family? How is that possible? Our Eastern Emperor family is the benchmark. Dongwang Qingru said with a righteous look on her face. Dongwang Qingru didn't dare to say it. There's so many people here, if she were to expose it, where would the face of the Eastern Emperor family be? Yi Hua asked faintly, Dongwang Qingru, right now is a good opportunity for you to atone for your crimes. Don't test my patience. About that, great God, it's not that I don't want to say it, I only found out about it recently. Dongwang Qingru was also afraid. This man would beat someone up just because of a single sentence, and furthermore, he would beat someone to death. Oh, what is it? Actually, I don't know the exact details. The floor leader asked me to keep it a secret. He said that it's a big secret of the Eastern Royal Clan. Dongwang Qingru said sneakily. Looking at her, one could tell that she was talking about a secret. Right now, even Dongwang Baiji was curious as to what exactly had happened. Then let's go now. Yi Hua was already impatient to go and stir up some trouble. The main thing was that with Qing Su by his side, Qing Su might be able to evoke some of his bad memories. Dongwang said softly, Great God, I can't do that. I have to wait until Mount Tianshan reaches the ascended stage before I go back. Yi Hua went silent for a moment, then felt that it was fine. Then, let's play for another 7 days. This time, I, the Supreme Overlord, will be able to think about how to take revenge for the Empress. That scene must have been extremely comfortable. Sure, then I will wait for another 7 days. Yi Hua said faintly. The person sitting next to him was puzzled. What did he mean by waiting for 7 days? What was this man trying to do? Don't tell me you're itching all over if you don't do anything for a day. Dongwang Qingru was very scared now. If she brought the great God back to her family, she would definitely be beaten up. But if he didn't bring her along, he would be beaten up right now. Moreover, this woman was of pure bloodline. However, the level leader had said that no information could be leaked. If not, the East royal family would become a laughingstock. Meng Yao didn't know what to say. She didn't have the mood to continue. Qing Su was also very hesitant. The scene played in his mind over and over again. Furthermore, it felt more and more familiar. His figure was about to overlap with that person's. Was he really one of them? This skeleton didn't lie to me? Qing Su didn't dare to come to a conclusion, so he decided to observe the situation first. 7 days passed by very quickly. Yi Hua brought along Dongwang Baiji and walked around Heavenly Mountain. It was one thing for Yi Hua to listen to the lectures, but after listening to the lectures, Yi Hua felt like sleeping. Looking at these people leaving one after another, Yi Hua's mood was pretty good. But one didn't feel very good. Mr. Yi, why don't you not go? Great God, this lady is right. Why don't we go another day? Dongwang Qingru said hurriedly. If he really went, it would be the rhythm of the world changing. Yi Hua's gaze turned cold, and the latter instantly became speechless. At this moment, Meng Yao leisurely walked over and asked in a low voice, Are we really going to the East royal family? Yi Hua looked at Meng Yao and revealed out a kind smile. Yes. Do you need help? Meng Yao said lightly. This caused Yi Hua to go into a daze. However, he felt that this was a good thing. This meant that there was still hope for Yi Juetian and that he didn't die. When Dongwang Qingru heard what Yi Hua said, she was very stupefied. You are God, Meng Yao. How can you just do whatever you want to do? Don't you have any sense of propriety at all? How can this do? This is too careless. End of this chapter. Chapter 1231. There's no need for that. I will be able to settle this matter myself. With a you understand smile on his face, Yi Hua stretched out his hand and patted on Meng Yao's shoulder. Towards Yi Hua's smile, Meng Yao naturally understood. It was naturally Yi Juet Yaneng. Ya didn't know what to say. She could only softly say, "Then be careful. The Dongwang clan is not to be trifled with." Dongwang Qingru wanted to add that exalted goddess Meng Yao was right. Don't go and cause trouble. It wasn't just Dongwang Qingru. Even Wanwan wanted to say that they really shouldn't go there. After all, there was a slim chance of survival. Meng Yao, do you think I'm pushover? You should know me very well. Yi Hua retracted his smile and said faintly. Meng Yao chuckled. Then I'll be going back. Yi Hua nodded his head, and Meng Yao disappeared from the spot. However, Dongwang Qingru and Wanwan were very confused. Why did goddess Meng Yao seem to be so obedient? Just who was this man? The disciples of the Dongwang clan were all puzzled. All the disciples present knew that this man was going to cause trouble in their territory. According to the normal procedure, he should have tried his best to stop them, even to the extent of fighting to the death. Only then would he be able to display the demeanor of a great family. But, however, right now I don't have that thought at all. I feel that they were on the same side. There was no need to fight at all. That's right, they were all on the same side. According to the head guard of the vestibule, that woman had an authentic bloodline. This was a huge matter that would shake the entire 9 prefectures and 5 seas. What are you waiting for? Let's go. It has been a very long time since I last did something, and today I can finally do something. Thus, Yi Hua brought along his wife and subordinates and set off. Even though Qing Su still admitted to it, Lin Fan could feel that he was slowly changing, as though he had realized the truth. As for Battle Fushi, it's best that I don't turn back to normal right now. No, wait. This is the normal Battle Fushi. The previous one is the fake Battle Fushi. Dongwang Qingru was helpless. She opened the teleportation gate that led directly to the Eastern Emperor clan above the Azure Ocean. Right now, Dongwang Baiji was a bit nervous. I don't know how I should face this. If everything that I said is real, in that case, his hometown should be on the other side of the portal. Dongwang Baiji became rash. Yi Hua seemed to be able to sense Dongwang Baiji's unusual movements, and he stretched out his hand and held on to Dongwang Baiji's hand, giving her encouragement. With me by your side, even if the Heavenly King is here, he won't be able to touch a single hair on your head. The group of people stepped into the teleportation formation, and Yi Hua could only feel his vision turning dark. A beautiful scene appeared in front of Dongwang Baiji. This place is truly beautiful. Even Qing Su was attracted by the scene in front of him. Everyone appeared on the first level, and the Eastern Emperor clan was on top of the rainbow clouds, ascending in a stair-like manner. Therefore, from this angle, it just so happened that one could see the Eastern Emperor clan level by level, and it was as gorgeous as a rainbow. Dongwang Baiji felt that it was very romantic. If it was at night, it would definitely make people intoxicated. Indeed, in the Dongwang clan, the night was the most enchanting. We await the head guard of the vestibule. The disciple who was guarding at the side shouted out respectfully, although he noticed Yi Hua and the others. Because Dongwang Qingru was the one who brought them in, he didn't say anything. Dongwang Qingru didn't know what to say. Didn't you want to create trouble? Hurry up and create trouble. I've already made up my mind. Even the disciple who was guarding at the side was thinking the same. It doesn't matter if I die sooner or later, I might as well watch how you guys create trouble in the Eastern Emperor clan. However, after waiting for a long time, Dongwang Qingru still didn't see Yi Hua kill them. Yi Hua was also very confused. Doesn't it hurt when I'm kneeling? Why are you looking at me? Is there something wrong with you? Dongwang Qingru seemed to be able to understand Yi Hua's gaze and said in a low voice, "This person is here to create trouble. Call your boss out." Yi Hua and Dongwang Baiji were both stupefied. What is this Dongwang Qingru trying to do? Why does she make it seem as if we are on the same side? You're someone from that side. Qing Su and Do Fushi stood at the back. The two of them were like autistic children, not saying anything and not caring about anything. Head guard of the vestibule. What do you mean by this? The disciple who was kneeling on the ground asked confusedly. Yi Hua said faintly, "Do you still not understand?" Your head guard of the vestibule has already turned traitor. Dong Wang Qingru, creating something out of nothing. This is creating something out of nothing. My Dong Wang Qingrose heart could be seen by the sun and moon. I am also loyal and devoted to the Dong Huang family. How could I possibly turn traitor? No, it should be said that I, Dong Wang Qingru, only support the original. Mere pirated goods, go and die. Thus, I feel that Dong Wang Baiji is the original. If she isn't the original, then she must be a pirated one. I, Dong Wang Qingru, can only blame myself for making an error of judgment. Swish, swish, swish. All of the disciples in the surroundings drew out their swords. However, the disciples beside Yi Hua drew out their swords on reflex, a real hammer. Dong Wang Qingru felt a bit dizzy, and she really wanted to fall down. Head guard of the vestibule, you actually brought along your disciples to rebel, and you even dared to come back. What guts you have? Yi Hua said faintly, this person's guts are indeed big. You have to call your boss over. If not, you will be killed. Dong Wang Qingru's heart was in pain. Why did I have to meet this man? Ever since I met this man, I have never had a good life. I have been humiliated by him every single day. Although it wasn't physically, it was still mentally. The disciples in the surroundings felt that what Yi Hua said was right, and two of them hurriedly went to look for the floor leader. After all, if the head guard betrayed them, they still have to call for the floor leader. This is the rule. Yi Hua took out a stick of cigarette and lit it up. I feel that this is too fast. There isn't any foreshadowing at all. It will give people a kind of unpleasant feeling. This is a little troublesome. Not long later, Dong Wang Fei, who was the floor leader, arrived. Yi Hua looked at Dong Wang Fei, and Dong Wang Fei directly looked at Yi Hua with a grave gaze. This man is very dangerous. Dong Wang Qingru, what are you doing? Dong Wang Fei shouted out gravely. Dong Wang Qingru knew that she had no chance and said respectfully, floor leader, this person is looking for you. After finished speaking, she even blinked her eyes. Dong Wang Fei shouted out, Dong Wang Qingru, why are you blinking your eyes at me? Dong Wang Qingru, Yi Hua didn't pay attention to Dong Wang Fei and asked faintly, Dong Wang Fei, right? Who are you? Dong Wang Fei asked in a low voice. For the time being, he didn't explode, but he seemed to be very vigilant. Yi Hua pushed on a Dong Wang Baiji. Wife, it is your turn to act. Dong Wang Baiji took a deep breath, then said gravely, my name is Dong Wang Baiji. Dong Wang Fei finally knew. Why did Dong Wang Qingru blink her eyes just now? Could it be that this woman is the one? Something bad has happened. Something big is going to happen. This damn Dong Wang Qingru, why did you bring them here? We're going to die together. End of this chapter. Chapter 1232. Yi Hua saw the struggle within Dong Wang Fei's eyes, then said with a slight smile, Dong Wang Fei, you don't have to be nervous. What about my wife? She has the purest bloodline of Dong Huang Fei, and the reason why I came over this time is to seek justice. A pure bloodline. These words exploded in the ears of all the disciples. How is this possible, other than the patriarch? Who else could have the purest bloodline? You guys don't seem to believe me. Baiji, show them what purity is. Wait, Dong Wang Fei shouted. Why did he have to stop them? If Dong Wang Baiji were to release her aura in this place, everyone would definitely know about it. He couldn't take the blame for this. His mind was in a mess now, and he had to think it through properly. Wan Wan was so scared that she was trembling. They actually caused trouble like this. It was too careless. Why do we have to wait? Yi Hua asked gravely. Why don't we talk in private? Dong Wang Fei did not want to blow up this matter, and he wanted to settle it himself. Initially, Yi Hua wanted to go straight to the heart of the matter, but he suddenly thought, it's good for me to chat with them. The most important thing is to know what exactly is going on. It was better to figure it out. Yi Hua nodded his head, and only then did Dong Wang Fei let out a breath of relief. Please. Dong Wang Fei appeared to be slightly more polite. Yi Hua was also the kind of person who wouldn't slap a smiling face. Thus, He brought along his wife and subordinates and walked over. Dongwang Qingru was stunned. She couldn't help but shout, "Great God? What about me?" "Follow me," Yihua said faintly. "This person is still somewhat useful. I will keep him by my side for the time being." Dongwang Qingru exclaimed that she was lucky that she wasn't betrayed by the great god. Dongwang Fei didn't say anything, and he immediately sealed off the inner layer. Dongwang Fei sat at the center of the hall, and Yihua didn't care too much about it and sat at the side. Dongwang Qingru served the tea. Yes. Everyone just sat there, and no one spoke. Dongwang Fei sized up these people. Other than this man and woman, there were two other men and a woman. The woman seemed to be quite frightened. She was even trembling. As for the two men, one was fat and the other was skinny. They looked like they had lost their minds. Therefore, there were only these two people who had battle power. That woman seems to be very strong. As for this man, it felt dangerous, but it also felt like he was a gigolo. He must have gotten close to this woman to give him advice, in order to achieve his own dirty plan. What a vicious man. It seemed like he still had to start with this woman. Looking at her unwilling look, she was forced by this man. Dongwang Baiji? Yes. Dongwang Baiji nodded her head. Dongwang Fei said with a steady tone, "Miss Baiji, don't be afraid. Since you are here, no one will dare to do anything to you." Yihua and Dongwang Baiji. This sentence should be reversed. It should be that we won't do anything to you, right? Looking at Yihua's shocked gaze, Dongwang Fei sneered in his heart. Were you still able to control the situation in the past? Miss Baiji, if you have any difficulties, you can tell me. Yihua said gravely. What exactly are you talking about? I want to ask you, how could my wife have a pure bloodline? Call your family head out. Dongwang Fei frowned and laughed. Don't be impatient. I will naturally inform the clan master. However, I still need to ask a few questions. Of course, I'm not asking you. Yihua didn't say anything. Excuse me, Dongwang Baiji asked. You're a member of the East Emperor family. Why are you wandering outside? Dongwang Fei asked confusedly. Without waiting for Dongwang Baiji to say anything, Yihua said faintly, I will have to ask you all about this. Why was my wife framed? Dongwang Fei wished that he could give Yihua a kick. However, he didn't have a clear understanding of Yihua's strength, so he didn't dare to act recklessly. Miss Baiji, what is your purpose for coming here this time? Dongwang Fei asked lightly. Dongwang Baiji said in a low voice, My main purpose for coming here this time is, before Dongwang Baiji finished speaking, Yihua added, acting cool. Dongwang Baiji, everyone, Dongwang Fei's mind was filled with 10,000 curses. Can't we just have a pleasant conversation? You stinky man. What are you interrupting for? Do you believe that I won't interrupt you? Yihua said gravely. Now, I will ask you a question. Dongwang Fei waved his hand. I want to know, the biggest secret of your East Emperor family is related to my woman. Why was she controlled by someone? If it wasn't for me appearing and displaying a heroic feat, my woman would have been living in an abyss of suffering. Hearing Yihua's words, some people became stupefied. Wanwan felt that Dongwang Baiji was so blessed to have a man who loved her so deeply. Meanwhile, Dongwang Baiji wanted to curse out in her heart. Heroic feat? I was carelessly tricked by you for the first time, and you call that heroic feat? You are lying through your teeth. Dongwang Fei wrinkled his brows. Being controlled by someone? I really don't know about that. After all, those are the secrets of the higher-ups. What? You aren't going to say it? Yihua asked coldly. I don't know either. Baiji, transform and show him. Dongwang Fei hurriedly said, Wait a minute, don't get agitated, let's talk things out. Go ahead and say it then. Dongwang Baiji was very curious too. At this moment, Dongwang Qingru came over with a cup of tea. After the tea was served, Dongwang Qingru stood at the side and seemed like she was going to sit down. You go out and keep watch. Dongwang Qingru went into a daze for a moment, then expressed that I also want to know this kind of gossip. Thus, she directly looked towards Yihua. Yihua ignored him. The latter felt helpless. This person was burning the bridge after crossing it. He wasn't even willing to share gossip. After Dong Wang, Qingru left. Dong Wang Fei took a sip of tea. Do you really want to know? If you are truly pure, do you know how big of an impression this will have? Dong Wang Fei asked in a deep voice. Yi Hua was instantly in a bad mood and said eerily, "What does this have to do with me? If you've done something wrong, stand at attention. You are really unreasonable. Right now, the 9 states and 5 seas are all peaceful because of the checks and balances of the powerful clan heads. Once something happens, the checks and balances will be broken. When that time comes, the people will be plunged into misery and suffering. Are you going to turn the entire world into hell for your personal gain?" Yihua and Dongwang Baiji went into a daze. Is it that serious? Who are you kidding? Yihua snorted coldly. Do you think that I will believe you just because you said that? The Eastern Royal Clan is the leader of all the clans. If there's any negative news, it would be a disgrace to the entire clan. It would also be a devastating blow to the Eastern Royal Clan. Don't tell me you want to take over a clan that has suffered a blow? After hearing that, Yihua asked gravely, "Tell me right now, what exactly is the matter that caused the Eastern Royal Clan to suffer such a disgrace? Sai, why do you have to be so stubborn? Ching Su, open his mouth for me." Yihua couldn't take it anymore. This fellow is asking for a beating. End of this chapter. Chapter 1233. Ching Su had a dazed look on his face, as if he had fallen into a memory. This made Yihua a bit awkward. I asked you to make a move, and this is your expression? However, Dongwang Fei seemed to be shocked. I know that these people aren't easy to deal with, but I can't let anything happen to them in my territory. Actually, this is just a legend. As for the truth, I'm not very clear about it either. Dongwang Fei was a bit scared. His intuition told him that only by being scared would he be safe. This was similar to Dongwang Qingru. If they were to cower, they would be able to see the world. Speak. Yihua was very curious about what exactly was going on. Dongwang Baiji also wanted to know. No matter if it was a legend or not, she still wanted to know. Dongwang Fei let out a light sigh. Since you all want to know, I will speak about it. However, I still hope that you all don't implicate me. I naturally won't implicate you, Yihua said indifferently. As for what other people were thinking, he didn't know. Dongwang Fei was thinking in his heart, I don't believe you all. You all look like the type that doesn't keep your promises. This matter has to start from a very long time ago. At that time, I was still the head guard of the rear courtyard. Dongwang Fei said solemnly. Yihua nodded his head. The rear courtyard is not bad. It is much more interesting than the front courtyard. Dongwang Fei said seriously. Indeed, the rear courtyard is more important. Let's get to the main point. Stop talking about the front courtyard and the rear courtyard. Yihua said in a low voice. Isn't this what you were talking about? Dongwang Baiji couldn't take it anymore. Can you all stop talking about the front courtyard and the rear courtyard? Yihua leaned on the chair, took out a cigarette, and lit it up. Dongwang Fei could feel that Dongwang Baiji's aura was indeed very pure. Miss Baiji, please calm down. Dongwang Fei had to calm down Dongwang Baiji. If someone were to discover this aura, they would be in big trouble. TMD, are you going to speak or not? Yihua couldn't take it anymore. Just what is going on? You've been talking nonsense for half a day. Speak, be quiet for a bit. Let me recall properly. Can you all not be so noisy? At this moment, Ching Su couldn't take it anymore and said, it must be said that everyone present was very annoyed. Yihua, who was annoyed, his gaze turned cold. Ching Su. The latter pursed his lips and did not say anything. From the looks of it, the current Yihua is able to intimidate Ching Su. At the very least, Ching Su won't talk back. From the looks of it, in Ching Su's subconsciousness, Ching Su has begun to acknowledge Yihua's memories. Dongwang Fei pursed his lips. I have no choice but to say it. I advise you to speak the truth if not. Yihua gave a stern warning. Dongwang Fei was furious. How many years have I been a floor manager? Although the fatty looked just like an ordinary person, the imposing manner he gave off was simply even more ferocious than the family head. This imposing manner couldn't be faked without accumulating it for a long time. It was impossible to achieve it. That's right, Dongwang Baiji added. Yihua rubbed on a Dongwang Baiji's head. That's right. Dongwang Fei was very helpless as he said in a low voice, "Don't tell anyone. I'm the one who told you all about this. You all are using your lives to threaten me." Yihua has never seen such a cowardly person before. Aren't you known as the floor manager? Are you all this cowardly? First of all, I have to declare my position. Whether or not this matter is true or false, you all can only use it as a reference. Dongwang Fei paused for a moment, then continued, I only heard that the current family head cuckolded Dongwang Shini. Yihua, Dongwang Baiji, Qing Su. This gossip is too fierce. Cuckolding someone, this is simply the most ferocious revenge. You all don't have to look at me like this. There is no evidence for this. Dongwang Fei hurriedly added. Yihua asked curiously, Are the two of them blood-related brothers? Dongwang Fei nodded his head. That's right. The current family head is the younger brother. Awesome. The younger brother cuckolded the older brother, and the older brother disappeared in the end. Then, Dongwang Baiji. Yihua looked at Dongwang Baiji blankly. Could it be Dongwang Baiji was also a bit stupefied right now? If this is really the case, then I am the descendant of the current family head. This Dongwang Baiji was a bit unable to accept this. I want to be alone. After finished speaking, Dongwang Baiji walked out of the hall. End of this chapter. Chapter 1234. Dongwang Qingru, who was standing outside, was also stupefied. The current family head, Dongwang Jieshang, cuckolded his own brother. If this matter were to be known by the people of the 9 provinces and 5 seas, the Dongwang family would become a laughing stock. No wonder the level manager is so cautious. Something big is going to happen. Yihua didn't chase after them. Right now, Dongwang Baiji indeed needs to calm down. I came here to cause trouble and act cool, but in the end, it became a family search. Then, what should Dongwang Baiji call the current family head? According to what Dongwang Baiji said, his father had already passed away. Perhaps he should be called Grandpa. Fortunately, it's not his father. That would be so awkward. Yihua didn't know how to comfort his wife right now. If I knew that there would be such a trap, I should have come here first to check things out. How can the Empress accept this? If it was me, I would also be a loss. Speaking of which, I have never seen the Empress's father before. According to Dongwang Baiji, the Empress's father seemed to have died from anger. How tough is the life of the Dongwang family? How can they die from anger? There seems to be something fishy about this. Not right. This doesn't feel right. Perhaps this family head is Dongwang Baiji's father. If I were to deal with this matter, I would definitely hand my daughter over to the person I trust the most to prevent her from being implicated. This makes sense. My deduction is very likely to be true. If that's the case, that marquis should be the person who is secretly helping the Empress, hiding Dongwang Baiji on Earth to prevent her from being discovered. I am truly a genius. Actually, I haven't finished speaking. Dongwang Fei said embarrassedly. Yihua and Qing Su went into a daze. Dongwang Fei could be heard continuing. According to the rumors, Dongwang Shini was cuckolded first. That's why the current family head took revenge. Yihua, Qing Su, Do Fushi, who was at the side, didn't even hear what Dongwang Fei said. As for Wan Wan, she was already shocked. I didn't expect that there would be such a scandal within a big family. If this kind of news were to be leaked out, the Dongwang family's reputation would definitely be gone. It would only become a joke after a meal. When Yihua heard what Dongwang Baiji said, he immediately overturned his previous conjecture. Just whose descendant is Dongwang Baiji? This will forever be a mystery. Fortunately, Dongwang Baiji walked out of the room. If she had heard what Yihua said just now, she would have definitely fainted. Now, there was only Bodhisattva's blessing. This was not at the level of a father. Otherwise, it would be really awkward. Are there any more? Yihua asked curiously. This Dongwang family is too chaotic. I hope that this rumor is false. There is one more thing, Dongwang Fei said solemnly. What is it? Qing Su asked immediately. Yihua glared at him fiercely. As a subordinate, you shouldn't talk too much. Qing Su pursed his lips and remained silent. What is it? Dongwang Fei looked at the surroundings and said in a low voice, at that time, none of them had a wife or fiancé. Right now, Yihua was a bit confused. It was the same for Qing Su. Damn, is it asexual reproduction? With just a single sentence, this fellow had completely overturned all of Yihua's previous plans. Right now, Yihua was completely unable to understand what was going on. However, this aroused Yihua's desire to know the inside story even more. Where's the family head? I'll go and pout my lips. Qing Su said solemnly. He had to know the inside story. Yihua did not say anything. I indeed need to know the inside story, my woman. Which side were they on? Don't get too excited. Recently, the Eastern Emperor clan is organizing a youth competition. If you guys were to directly cause trouble, the consequences would be dire. Have you heard of the Immortal Shrine? Dongwang Fei said solemnly. Yihua went into a daze, then looked towards Wanwan. Wanwan felt guilty. Qing Su also knew that this indestructible shrine was really that strong. Even the Dongwang clan was afraid of him. I have heard of it. What about it? Yihua asked curiously. Dongwang Fei said solemnly. This palace master has been suppressed by the patriarchs of several big clans. That's why he has been peaceful for thousands of years. Recently, this group of people has been acting strangely again. I'm afraid they are trying to cause trouble. So, Yihua asked, that's why we can't complicate the issue now. The Hall Master is afraid that if the ceiling formation disappears, it will bring about destruction. That's why he wants you guys to calm down and have a good chat. Misunderstandings can be resolved. There's no need to fight and kill each other. This palace master is so powerful. Yihua was a bit curious. Right now, I'm lacking a strong opponent. That palace master is able to make Wei Chong betray his faction. That palace master definitely has a very terrifying strength. I really want to have a look at him. That's not right. Wasn't it said that the Hall Master was sealing it? He is indeed very powerful. He has countless experts under him. Yihua asked, did you just say that the Hall Master is within the seal? That's right. All of the family patriarchs will work together to reinforce the seal every month. If not, the seal will be broken. The seal is filled with the aura of all of the family patriarchs. If something were to happen to the family patriarch, the consequences, I dare not imagine. Yihua took a look at Qing Su, and Qing Su gave Yihua a look of wanting to cause trouble. As expected of my subordinate, you never forget to cause trouble. I can let this evil out to play with. I'll let Wei Chong see how trash the master that you chose is. When the time comes, you will kneel in front of me and repent, and I won't forgive you. What do you mean by the youngster assembly that you mentioned just now? Yihua asked. Oh, it means that the most outstanding disciple will be chosen from among the disciples to be groomed. Dongwang Ji will be attending as well? Yihua asked curiously. Of course, the number one disciple will be groomed personally by the family patriarch. Yihua nodded his head, then looked at Dongwang Baiji's back view and asked, can you give me identity? You're thinking? Dongwang Fei seemed to be able to sense what Yihua wanted to do. I'm just thinking. Dongwang Fei pondered for a moment, then nodded his head. Forget it. In any case, I will be killed by you all. I will guarantee that you won't die. Yihua said faintly. If I want someone to die, that person will definitely die. But if I want someone to live, even if all four of his limbs are broken, that person will still be able to live. Really? Of course. Then, let me tell you another secret. F***CK. I suddenly don't want to protect him anymore. This is simply not trustworthy. What secret? Dongwang Fei said in a low voice. The family patriarch has an uncle. The corner of Yihua and Qing Su's mouth twitched slightly. Could it be that this uncle cuckolded his brothers? F***CK. How can these people be so perverted? It's not what you all think. The family patriarch's uncle is called Dongwang Ci. He is the one with the highest seniority in the entire Dongwang family, and his strength is also the strongest. You all have to be careful. I feel that Dongwang CI is not a good person. Dongwang Fei warned. Yihua felt that he had gained a lot from this trip. Now it is time for me to display my strength. Let everyone fear the power of the deity. Tremble in fear. In a chapter that you're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.